Should chat as well.
And we're live. Welcome back to Cat the Craggle. We're here with another part of building Lego Diagon Alley, part 8. Yeah, considering originally I thought I was going to do one of these booklets, a live stream, and there's only 4 booklets. This hasn't gone exactly to plan. But, have you ever heard the phrase, your eyes are bigger than your belly? It's kind of like basically an old wives version or old mother's version of you've bit off more than you can chew. And that kind of is the case. As I've learned, I am not particularly good at building when live streaming, when hosting a live stream. I mean, I can build on someone else's live stream because I don't really have to do anything but build and occasionally drop a witty retort or insult. But when I'm hosting it and I'm trying to talk to other people, talk to the chat and stuff, I fail miserably. So that's why today, to help me, I brought on my special friend,
Hello. How's it going, guys? You all right?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad at all.
Brilliant. I saw a little bit of your live stream earlier because you were live, about an hour or so ago, hour and a half ago?
Yeah, I've been doing it super early, because basically get off work, eat a pizza, and then do an earlier live stream. But yeah, just fancy doing it. So.
Oh, yeah. I like the pizza part. Tell me more about the pizza parts. What kind of pizza are we talking about here? What kind of cheese? What kind of toppings? The base?
Standard. Although actually, it's a controversial pizza because it was ham and pineapple, which.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, it's been nice having you on the show, Bricken. Don't call me. I'll call you.
I mean, it was a meat feast. It was a full-on meat feast.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Get some meat feast. Yeah. I saw the funniest thing the other day. I saw a vegan meat feast pizza, and I was like, "There's something wrong there."
Oh, have you ever had vegan pizza?
No, I saw Greg's one that he did with a cauliflower base. That just looked dreadful.
Yeah, it's not actually the vegan bit's all right. It's the cheese. Like vegan cheese to me just does not taste right. It's hideous.
I tried when I first met the missus, she was completely vegetarian. Then she went pescatarian, and then eventually I've kind of got a half and half. But, when I first met her, she gave me some corn chicken pieces to eat, and honestly, it was the worst thing I've ever tried. It tasted like sawdust.
Corn is bad.
I did have some vegetarian beef burgers, which were okay, because what was weird, though, is that the flavor tasted like beef, but the texture was wrong, and it just how it was unnatural, like to say, vegan's more natural, it's plant-based and stuff like that.
So I went to America the end of last year to California, and over there they have Beyond Burgers and stuff, and they taste ridiculously good. They taste just like the real thing, but they're not. So I've seen their shares go up massively recently. I think that's the new thing. It's going to be fake meat, basically.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with veganism, it's kind of blown up. I remember, not even 10 years ago, everyone used to laugh, think you were vegan. Now it's become very trendy. What's weird, at the same time, burgers have also become trendy again when people used to turn their nose on burgers. So you've got 2 sides of the coin there. I feel like the main reason veganism is trending at the moment is because it, more so, not to do with the animal cruelty or anything like that, but with sort of the environmental aspect.
Yeah, definitely.
Having livestock is not very good for the environment and stuff like that. But I read an article today about someone who is actually a vegan, and they said, as much as they appreciate people going vegan because they're in it for the animal cruelty, they're saying that the sort of environmental impact of becoming a vegan and how good it for the environment is really overplayed, and you don't take into account that you still have to farm land. There's still pesticides involved. There's other stuff, and just generally there's also a dark side to veganism, and really. And this was written by a vegan who said I'm really happy that people return vegan, but I kind of feel a bit bad when they say I'm doing it because it's reducing my carbon footprint. And yeah, a little bit, but probably not as much as you think.
Yeah, I think there was I can't remember what the documentary's called on Netflix, but basically it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan, and they've been vegans for years. And it's about health and how good it is for athletes and stuff as well. So I think there's quite a lot of pros for it. But yeah, I think with the agriculture things, it's because mainly our farming and stuff is cattle anyway, isn't it? So they have to change that, and obviously supply and demand and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting nonetheless. But
I couldn't be a vegan. You know, life's too short to be a vegan. I didn't realize how Schwarzenegger was, though. That's interesting because I'm currently reading his autobiography, Total Recall. So at the moment, and now he's still talking about eating like meat and stuff. So I'm guessing that happened later. Jackie Chan, I knew that. I think
he's been recently, like, because I mean, he's had a fantastic life, hasn't he, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like governor and everything as well. So, but I think he that's what he talks about in the documentary is how, you know, the way when he was like Mr. Universe and stuff, it was all about eating certain meats and stuff, and it had to be done. And then apparently, like, the science proves it wrong or something. It's pretty. I mean, I'm not like a bodybuilder or anything, so it's just
I mean, the thing is, the science changes all the time. I mean, 1 minute they're saying eat this, 1 minute they're saying eat that, then saying don't eat this. I think basically eat what you want, but in moderation, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think everything in moderation is always a good shout.
I mean, we talked on Bricks and Brits, didn't we, a little bit about the Daily Mail, or as I got to call it, the daily things that will give you cancer.
I don't look at newspapers.
I remember. Do you remember this in the UK? There was a thing around, I think it was like the late 90s or early noughties, where they were trying to like get parents to encourage their kids to have ketchup pretty much with every meal, because they were saying that if they have ketchup, it counts as one of their 5 a day. And now, of course, they're like, only give them a little bit of ketchup because there's so much sugar in it. So it's like the whole thing with diesel cars, isn't it? It used to get like tax because they were better for the environment. Then also they realized actually they're terrible for the environment. They're worse than petrol, you know?
Yeah, I mean, my last car was diesel, and it was like completely tax-free. Like, it's ridiculous, like a 2-liter diesel. And now it's like, no. Luckily, it wasn't like
when he says, 200 years ago or something, they knew the Earth was flat. 5 minutes ago, you knew you were learning in the universe. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow.
Hey, we'll be proving that the Earth's not round soon.
Oh God! You're not a flat Earth.
No, definitely not, mate. I'm definitely not.
I think that's right up there with having pineapple on pizza. To be honest with you.
I thought you were going to say something like being ruled by reptilians, but no, pineapple and
yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I've heard the reptilian thing. I work with a guy. Oh, I've done a mistake now. See, this is what happens. I'm only talking to one person. Already, I've made a mistake. But I worked with a guy before who actually believed the whole thing of the. Oh, I didn't put my phone on silent, man. Oh dear. Let's just sort that out. Oh, there's someone liking my tweet apparently. Well, that's nice of you, but I'm in the middle of a live stream, and now I've got to get copyright strike for Sega music.
Bricklicker's in the chat.
Well, hey,
I mean, Night Karma asking, why are you so amazing? That's his question to you, mate.
To me?
Yeah, why are you so amazing?
I don't know. Why do you think I'm amazing? Let me throw it back at you. What about you, Chris? Why do you think I'm amazing?
Oh, it's that luscious beard, mate. That beard.
I know. If I shaved my beard now, what would
I even saw your brick head on top of the Diagon alley. That was the first It's like, he.
That was the one that that was the one that Clark and Greg made for me. Well, I think more Greg than Clark.
Yeah. I saw the vid. It's so good.
Yeah, I love how long my hair is. Like, it's literally right down to my backside.
You look a little bit like Taz of Tasmania.
All I need to do is grow it in this bit here, and I can do like a special flossing move. Hey, Shy Time is here. Shy Time is my time. What up, fam? I'll tell you what, though, I haven't actually probably looked at the chat. I apologize. I got straight into the building then. Normally, I like to have a look and see who's here. Well, welcome to our live stream. So let's have a quick look then. So we have Brixel Pixel. I love that name. That's such a cool name.
Pixel is sweet.
We have Brick Tony. We have Captain Rex fan. I wonder if they're a fan of Captain Rex. Maybe. We have Squidman. We have this guy called Brickinet saying hi guys, but he spelled hey, but he spelled hey wrong. I don't know. We have Rahul Loaiza Flores. I hope I've said that right, but thank you for joining us, Rahul. We've got Nightcalm. We have Mahan. Oh no, Mahan says I bought Lego Levi's.
I just saw that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'm so tempted, Mahan. I'm actually really tempted by it.
We have Wyvern Plays. We've got Brick Clicker, and we've got Random Films, and we have Mrs. Brickinet.
Yes.
Yeah, to keep tabs on her fella. Make sure, make sure he doesn't get up to any mischief with the old Craggle boy.
She'll be asleep in like 5 minutes, mate. She's knackered.
What are you trying to say? We're not boring.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe she's listening to our dulcet tones to go to sleep to.
I know. What was that about? Saying I was from the north or whatever. Outrageous. Right after you called me a friend as well, and I was like doing the in-betweeners reference. Friend, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're from the north. I was like, wow.
I always get. I didn't want to say it because I know you'd kill me. I was going to say I always get the Scottish and Welsh mixed up, but I really should not say that because that's
okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Brickinet. It's a real shame that you have to leave now. Oh wow.
We're going back to more normal stuff. What are your thoughts on the Lego Levi's then? Are you not interested at all?
No, I'm not really interested in any sort of Lego stuff like that. I'm not interested in the Adidas stuff. It's just
I tried to get the Adidas trainers.
It's not my style,
Yeah. I tried to get the Adidas trainers. It just was not happening. Like, no chance.
I can appreciate those more as like a collectible because I know people collect the trainers and stuff like that. The Levi stuff, I just look at and go, what? I don't.
They do a black hoodie that I think looks pretty cool. It's just like jet black, and then it's got yellow inside. So like the inside of the hoodie's yellow, which is pretty cool. And then it has just like one of the dots kind of weird.
Yeah. On it. I'd rather just get like a Lego themed hoodie from Primark or Eco.
Right. Well, the hoodie, I think 75 quid. 75 quid is mad for a hoodie. Yeah.
That's like how much you pay for like a gig hoodie or something, you know, and you've got the memory of going to the concert. Not in 2020, but in other years, Back before 2020, we had these things called concerts where you used to go and play,
I haven't been to a concert for years anyway.
For years, I mean, I have been to one since, but for years, I went to a music festival. I went to Leeds Festival in 2009, right before I went to uni to do my master's. And I was like, oh, man, amazing. Biggest gig I've been to yet. And then I didn't go again for like 7 years. It's mental, isn't it?
I mean, I actually was going to see the Killers this year, their reunion tour, but that got obviously got cancelled. But I think they're still doing it, but next year. But like that's because I think the last thing I saw was them when they were in their prime. That's how long it's been since I saw.
Isn't it crazy to think of Killers as an old band now?
Like,
new on the scene and stuff.
I mean, I saw them at a V Festival. Must be going on, and like it was their first album, Hot Fuzz, and the whole crowd like cheering. I got sold, but I'm not sold. It's absolutely incredible. Like, and now they've got like 6-7 albums or something, and people think that music
solo stuff though. When Brandon Flowers went on his solo career, he kind of crawled up his own backside a little bit. I think.
Flamingo.
Yeah, I get a feel. I don't know. Maybe he's calmed down now. But when he went like solo, he came across as a bit of a douche. To be honest with you,
I think it's because it's a weird thing. Like everyone thought the Killers were English when they made it big.
Yeah.
Like, they recorded Hot Fuzz in London, but actually he's from Vegas, so that's why like the album is called Flamingo and stuff. So yeah, I think he went a little bit power crazy maybe and wanted to go back to his roots. But
yeah, because a lot of people sort of. What was it? I can't remember what the sort of movement was called, but it was kind of like a second wave. Like they call like the Brit invasion of the 60s and stuff like that. And then there was the second one in I think the 80s. There was almost like another sort of reemergence of Brit sort of like punk pop, wasn't there? And the Killers kind of got wrapped up in that, but they weren't actually British. But you could be forgiven for mistaking that they were. To be honest with you.
I mean, such an English sound as well. Like, I mean, they sound like like Joy Division and in earlier like that. So
and they were like, I think they were on tour at one point with like Franz Ferdinand and other stuff like that. The first time I missed the Killers because the first time they were they came to Cardiff, they were supporting U2 which seems like a bit of a strange mix-up, but yeah, they were supporting U2, and I couldn't get tickets, so I decided to go on the town and just meet up with some mates and go for a booze up basically that night. And all my mates bailed one by one, and basically there was just 2 of us. And then this guy who was a tout was like, "Oh, I'm trying to sell my last 2 tickets. Do you want them for 30 quid for the piece?"
Wow.
Like, yeah. He's like, the support bands have gone off. You've got like 5 minutes to get in before, basically U2 come on. We're like, yeah, okay. So we went in and we saw U2. It was a fantastic gig. It was when they did the How to Dismantle Atomic Bomb album. I think was it the Virgo tour? Yeah, the Virgo tour.
That's like one of their last best albums, really.
Yes, yeah, exactly. After that, they just nosedive. Yeah, and it was a fantastic gig, but I missed the Killers. So when they came back around, when they did this, I think it was the second album. It was the one that had
Amstown.
When You Were Young. Yeah, that one.
Amstown, yeah.
Yeah, I went and saw that, and again, I couldn't get tickets for it, but I just hung around. So I was like, last time I got a ticket, and I got a ticket. I got it for, I think it was £10 by someone who basically their mate didn't turn up, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to buy this ticket?" I was like, yeah. So I was quite lucky in that regard. But they were fantastic live, yeah. The only thing was there were lots of people there who clearly only knew the one song and kept on shouting the lyrics to that every time they stopped, when they were talking to the audience in between songs. It's like, they'll get to that. Just shut up, I
mean, the first album, I think there's pretty much every single song on there is a hit. Like, it's crazy, the first album of the Killers, but
yeah,
just a mentally good band. But
old now. I felt old. It was great, but it also made me feel old when I got the Tony Hawks.
I heard you saying about it. Well, you said it on the podcast about Pro Skater 1 and 2. I've been tempted.
Such a blast from the past.
I used to love that game. I mean, it's not really a skateboarding game, though, is it? Because it's literally just how long you can ollie and manual and just to keep your tricks going.
Yeah, I mean, it's skateboarding in terms of doing tricks and stuff on there. It's weird because it's both 1 and 2 together, and yet it kind of feels like a shorter game. I remember these games being a lot longer, but it's still phenomenal. And you can tell it's been made with a lot of love for the originals. Like there was like a half-baked HD remake, I think, on Xbox Live Arcade a few years back, and it was just put some higher res skins over, and it wasn't even like the full games. It was like the greatest hits of 1 and 2, and then they had some DLC for Pro Skater 3. And it was just terrible. And of course, we had the ill-fated Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, which was supposed to reinvigorate the franchise, but was terrible. It was released and half finished. So to have this come out, and you can tell it was a labor of love for the original. Apparently, they rebuilt it from the ground up. They had access to the original codes from Neversoft, because obviously Neversoft are gone now, the developing company, and they talked with, and they had some of the people who developed the original game on, but they literally built it back up from the ground up, and it's phenomenal. It's so much fun.
I saw the trailer. There's a cheeky trailer that showed the old hangar training level. But is the UFO level in there? Yeah,
Roswell's in it. All the levels in there. In fact,
I loved that level, Roswell. It's so good. You can actually get to the aliens inside, if I remember correctly. It's tempting. It is tempting.
What's really good is they've got pretty much every single song from the first 2 games. If I remember correctly, there's a couple on there that I thought were missing, but actually were from 3 and 4.
Right.
But apparently there's 3 songs missing across the 2 games, but they've added an extra 30 songs, I think. Not all of them are to my taste, but it's got a cracking soundtrack.
Oh, they all did. They all had good soundtracks. Don't Fear the Reaper on the first one.
No, that wasn't on the first one. I think that was on. Was that on 4? I think actually.
I get them all confused. They've all got great soundtracks.
I mean, they did one a year, didn't they? So
yeah, I mean, I used to just remember that's what we used to do, is just chill, listening to that whilst hanging out, sort of thing. That was the kind of game to play.
It's crazy because I was trying to explain just how influential it was for me as when I was 11, going to my teens, what the kind of music I liked and stuff like that. And
it's when skateboarding kind of had its second wind a bit as well, wasn't it? When that came out,
I think because of that game. I remember when the first one came out over here, it was called Tony Hawk Skateboarding rather than Pro Skater, the first one when it first came out, and it didn't take off straight away. And I remember my mate Adam had it, and I used to play around his on his PlayStation. It wasn't even called a PS1 then; it was just a PlayStation. And we used to do split screen. And our favorite level was the school, and there was a track on there called Superman by Goldfinger. The band was absolutely killer tune, and we loved it. And after that, we got skateboards, and we were trying to like basically become skaters, and we were terrible. We were so bad. We could barely pull off an ollie, if that. We couldn't grind. I think I grinded once, and then came off the end and like basically skinned my shins. It was abysmal. And then at the time when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 had come out, it was like massive. Everyone loved Tony Hawk's. Skateboarding was like pretty big in our like school and stuff.
I remember the first one. You couldn't manual, could you, on the first Pro Skater?
No. And then they've added that in though. They've added in that, and they've also added in the wall grind, the wall ride.
Yeah, when you can like pop up, you can pop. You used to like drag your arm through the wall. I think it was like
One thing I do like is, do you know when you used to bail and come off your skateboard? It used to take him ages to get back up. Now there's like a little glitch effect, and then he gets back on the board. It does take. There is a little bit of animation. You start to see him get up, but rather than like him get all the way back up and then get back on the board, it's like a little glitch effect. So it's a little bit quicker, which means that, unless it's a really bad fail, they're a bit more forgiving in that sense.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, when I first went onto it, I sucked so much. I think it's because I was trying to do stuff from when like I had last played the game, and my character was completely like statted out. And of course, when you start the game, your stats are terrible. You have to collect all the stat points and stuff like that. So I was trying to pull off like the 900, and I had like no air time, so I was just like face planting every time. I was like, "Why isn't it working?"
I find it for a lot of old games anyway. Like I recently bought the All Stars 3D All Stars, and I completed Mario 64 about 4 or 5 times, 100%. And I turned it on, and I couldn't even move the character because you're like, you get like what you're used to, like because you used to just use one analog stick, and the camera didn't move with your character, and I just couldn't get it. Same with the Crash Bandicoot remake they did not long ago. The trilogy.
Oh yeah.
I just couldn't even. I've loved that game on PlayStation. I'm absolutely rubbish at it now. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, it's like I went to one convention about this is about 6 years ago, but they had like this massive like gaming section. They had a double-decker bus actually, which had like all retro consoles on there, and they had an N64 with GoldenEye, which is being like the first proper multiplayer first-person shooter. And I used to be really good at that game, and I didn't even know how to hold an N64 controller anymore. And I was like, how does this work? Like, how is this the best shooter game ever? I mean,
we were on about it with Greg, weren't we, in the chat? Because basically, the N64 controller, the analog sticks forward and left and right, whereas obviously we're used to having it forward and strafe left and right as your left analog stick.
I remember it being difficult at the time anyway, but this was nigh on impossible. It was so bad. The controller is really awkward to hold as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't designed for human hands. It was designed by the lizards that rule our planet in secret.
To be honest, I remember when it came out, it was like a massive secret, the N64 controller. They used to like show it in a box so no one could see it and things. Because like when that came out, the PlayStation didn't have any analog sticks. Like that was what I was competing with.
Yeah.
And Rumble you had to buy separately on the N64.
Yeah. On the PlayStation as well. It was only, I think, with PS2 they had the built-in Rumble motor, wasn't it?
Well, they actually took it out of the PlayStation 3, which a lot of people forget. Because when the PlayStation 3 came out, they did that 6-axis thing with the controller, and it couldn't run on batteries, so they had to take out the Dual Shock.
Oh.
And then they put it back in later. So yeah, some weird stuff that's happened with controllers over the years.
Definitely. What's your favorite controller then? To be
honest, like I actually really like the Xbox controller, even though I play on PlayStation. Like,
I love
it.
Xbox
controller's amazing controller.
I feel like with that one, they completely ripped off the Dreamcast controller, which used to be my favorite, but they took that and they improved it. They got rid of the nickels I had with that.
I heard the Xbox is the Dreamcast 2 anyway, the original Xbox, because I think they bought all the servers from Dreamcast, I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of
I know there's a lot of Dreamcast games that were planned but got cancelled when they stopped making consoles that then came onto Xbox. I mean, Shenmue 2 even was released on there, although that did get a release. Oh, we have another contestant entering the arena. I need to get my own version of that phrase. I've stolen that from Greg. I need to come up with my own. We have another in the ring. It is the one, the only. What I do, baby boo, be fabulous.
Hello.
Hey, Fab, you right, mate?
Hello, Brickinet, and hello, Craggle. I'm
Why do
disappointed.
you sound so depressed? Did you like
I know.
chocolates?
It's because you're here, Craggle. Can we kick him from his own stream? Kick him!
You were flirting with me earlier on Brickinet's live stream.
Steph, you were actually
Also,
fake, Craggle. She was
Don't
asking
think I didn't see you dropping all those donations like some sort of crazy.
I dropped no donations. I am broke as heck.
No, they were from the last stream. They were. You dropped like three
okay.
donations in quick succession last stream.
Oh yeah, last stream. You know.
I think you were drunk last time. I think you were just hammering the donation.
Bob never gives me money, not even when he's drunk.
No, I was sober. I was in my car giving donations last time. So.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you were.
I've got to say though that you've got like a really nice setup. I love like that, your whole setup, both like physically where you do your builds, Chris, and also I like how you've got the live stream either. But one thing I do find questionable is that when someone donates to you, there's this voice that goes, "Oh yeah."
I have to say, when I'm in my car and I'm connected to Bluetooth, right, because I have my car audio really loud 95% of the time. I have to like quickly turn it down. Like, oh no, shit! Just start turning it down really low so people don't look at me. So.
That's the best bit about it. What are you on about? That's
I love it. I love
Who
it.
is it? Is that you?
No. I don't want people to go, oh yeah, and be like, what the fuck is he watching? Is he watching porn in his car? You know?
This is the thing. I've come to the conclusion that it's one of two things. It's either a man reaching climax or it's a man passing a turd.
I don't think anybody goes, oh yeah, when they're passing a turd.
Okay, then. I mean, both get kind of a similar response, in all fairness, you know. So especially when you've been.
It's a canned response on Streamlabs. It was just one that was there, and I just thought that sounds funny. Put it on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just. So obviously someone's been paid to do that voice.
I was trying to describe it to someone, and I kept on doing the impression of like the Jug character from Family Guy. You know, the one that's got the juice in it. But the Kool-Aid guy who bursts through the wall and goes, "Oh yeah,
oh yeah, oh yeah."
It's much more erotic than that. It's disturbing. You know, we have this family-friendly stream. He's there talking about stormtroopers and why they've got tusks, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Oh yeah, don't stop, more whipped cream."
What have I walked into?
I don't know. I was going to say it's Friday, but it's not Friday, so I can't even use that.
Sadly not. It's only Tuesday. It got a long way yet.
Oh, I know. So, how has the week been for you so far, BFAB?
I'm still a virgin.
Oh, wow. Well, I do appreciate these daily updates. You know, it is a bit strange when I wake up in the morning and I have a text saying that, but you know.
Always good to let the world know. I'm still a virgin.
I mean, the one plus with being a virgin is that you don't have any STDs. So
yeah,
not that I know of. Do cousins count?
Oh, see, within like seconds of BFAB coming on the stream, it's gone downhill. You know, it's not going to get better than this, is it?
Wait, you're telling me you're not a virgin if you've done it with your cousin?
Oh. I mean,
in that one,
that feels like an American problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Why is that though? Why is it in America, or at least certain parts of America, they have this fascination with doing it with their cousins or marrying their cousins? I mean, America's a big place. Isn't there enough people for you over there? I mean, we live in the UK, which is like a lot.
No, because your cousin kind of sometimes looks like you, so you kind of want to go for them because they look like you.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm proud to be an American.
Well, speaking of America, I'm looking forward to the new Borat movie.
I watched the trailer to that afterwards because I didn't know what you guys were even on about during the podcast.
Oh.
I hadn't watched it yet. I was like, I didn't even know there was a new one coming out. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was filmed mostly in secret. Fair play to him. There was someone who spotted him filming behind the wheel of a car in LA, I think it was.
Right.
And that was about like 3 or 4 days, or I think a week most before it was officially announced. So fair play to them about for keeping most of it a secret. But the trailer itself had me in tears. I was laughing so much.
Talking about like specials and stuff. Have you guys seen the South Park one, the pandemic special?
No.
I don't think so.
It's like
I stopped watching like South Park when I was 13 years old, mine. So it was one of those things where it was like the first couple of years of high school, and it was like, oh, I'm not going to watch South Park, so therefore I'm going to watch it, and then it quickly kind of got bored of it.
It was like the most watched episode in like the last 7 years or something for them. But it hasn't been shown in the UK anyway.
It's still going, to be honest with you. I thought it got cancelled or something.
Yeah, they even tried to cancel themselves last year. They actually started the hashtag cancel South Park themselves.
That's insane.
I
mean, I tell you, along similar lines, I've rewatched a bunch of the earlier seasons of The Simpsons on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
I honestly, I hate to say this because I used to love The Simpsons, although I've always preferred Family Guy myself, but it doesn't hold up as much. I haven't laughed as much. It got a bit better, like around, I think, season 3. Hard to tell because I was just kind of like binge watching them a bit. But I really was kind of thinking like, oh, okay, when is this going to get better? It wasn't as good as I remember it being.
I prefer Futurama, to be honest, to Simpsons.
Yeah, Futurama. Well, I'm always a bit scared to go back to Futurama now because I love Futurama. I don't want that not to be good. But
have you watched the Enchanted? I think it's called on Netflix.
Disenchanted.
Yeah, Disenchanted. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't watched that yet. Is that any good?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, you can definitely tell it's inspired by obviously it's Matt Groening still, but yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad. It's not amazing. The second series is better than the first, but
like when they did the Simpsons movie, I was like, that came out like 10 years too late. To be honest with you, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was probably the best thing the Simpsons had done at that point for a long while, but it was kind of like. Simpsons reached its peak, sort of, I think, in the mid-90s,
Yeah.
It hasn't really gone back to that since. They should have gone off a long time ago.
It's written by the guys who do Family Guy now, isn't it?
I don't know. I know they did a crossover episode, which I thought was going to be terrible, I think it was called Simpsons Guy. It was a Family Guy episode.
Yeah, I've watched that. But I'm pretty sure now it's written by Seth MacFarlane's team. I think they basically write the same.
Pretty good. I was impressed with how good it was. It was definitely more a Family Guy episode than a Simpsons episode, but I did like it, especially the bit when, like, because obviously at the start, Peter and Homer become quick friends, but then Homer sort of takes a dislike to Peter, thinking that basically like they're a complete rip-off of The Simpsons. But what I like when they go to court to sort of say like, oh, the Family Guy is ripped off The Simpsons, the judge is Fred Flintstone. He's like, well, I think you ripped us off, to be honest with you. And it's actually true because they were the original cartoon sitcom family, and the sort of like template for the Flintstones was still used in The Simpsons and then Family Guy,
So really, we need a Family Guy Lego set now then, because we've had Flintstones and we've had Simpsons.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either.
No, Mega Constructs, I think, have done some Family Guy stuff.
I saw an old Just Too Good video where they had like the blind bags, and they were absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
but I don't think we'll be getting Family Guy. I think we'll get Futurama over Family Guy.
I don't even know if Family Guy's that big anymore now. I mean, I don't, because I don't have TV area or anything like that. I just have Netflix and YouTube and Blu-rays. I wait till they come out on DVD before I watch a season of Family Guy. And what's annoying is here in the UK, it says like season 13, season 14, but they're not. They're like volumes, because like the Big Tell was, I think it was when, what season was it? There was one season where they went from, 4:3 aspect ratio to widescreen. And that happened on the first episode of a brand new season. But when you get it on DVD, it happens like 2 episodes away from the end of like one of the seasons in the UK, because what they do is they bundle episodes together and call that a season on the UK releases, which is so frustrating. I mean, you're not sort of missing out on any long story arcs.
No.
A series, but it is annoying because when you're trying to figure out what season, what episode's from, just completely wrong because they've just made it up, you know?
I'm pretty sure Mila Kunis, is that her name? Who plays Meg. She doesn't actually voice her in the first series either.
No, I think our first 2 seasons, I think she doesn't voice her.
Yeah. And then as it gets big, I think the other girl left and like...
Yeah. There's a falling out of some kinds, with the voice actress.
Bricks or Pixel's going, see you later, mate. Thanks for coming by.
See you, Bricks or Pixel. Awesome name. Love it.
A great name. Bricks or Pixel. But yeah.
Let's have a quick look at the chat. Someone's talking about Who Shot Mr. Burns. Dude, if you want Who Shot Mr. Burns in the movie, you have to make a part 3 of it. What? I don't know what they're talking about there. Yeah, the Who Shot Mr. Burns thing was all right. I remember that was pretty big, but that itself was a spoof of the old Dallas Who Shot. Oh, wasn't it?
There's a really interesting thing that someone noted on that Who Shot Mr. Burns, not even that long ago, which was in the background, Krusty the Clown isn't Krusty the Clown. It's actually Homer dressed as Krusty the Clown. It's a really weird, because there's an episode where he dresses as Krusty the Clown.
Yeah. Do you know about that, though, is that I remember as a kid always going, why does Krusty look like Homer in makeup? And I kept on getting told by mates, like, what are you on about? No, he doesn't. And then I found out that originally the plan was that Krusty was going to be Homer's secret identity.
Yeah.
The idea was that he hates his father, but but they scrapped that pretty much before the first episode even aired. But because the character design was done, because if you look at them, the character designs are pretty much identical, you know?
Yeah, well, that's what they were saying. Like, because on this shot that they've got where they see it, it's like I think it's just the nose is slightly different or something. Like the join to his beard is slightly different, and that's it. Like from the 2 characters, it's pretty weird how close they are.
I mean, fair play to Simpsons though. Whilst I said I don't think it holds up, it doesn't seem as funny. Looking back at it now, some of the episodes are still fantastic. But I honestly, I was a bit disappointed. I was very disappointed with how it didn't seem to hold up as I remembered it. But they also, to their credit, have predicted a lot of future events, intentionally or unintentionally. I mean, the whole thing with Donald Trump being president. I mean, they even sort of this has got to be coincidental, but there's a shot of him going down that escalator, which is exactly like, I think, a shot from a newsreel when he was going through his election campaign. There's also the whole thing of they put on their 20th Century Fox, now owned by Disney, which has come to pass as well.
There's actually, going back to South Park, there is actually an episode of South Park which says it's called Simpsons Did It, and it's a whole thing about like basically anything you do on television, the Simpsons will have done it already. Like it is pretty crazy. Like pretty much any plot has probably been a Simpsons episode. Like they just seem to have done everything because it's been going that long.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, even like South Park is guilty of that. I mean,
oh yeah.
The one thing I do remember South Park, I remember liking as a kid, is when they did the Monty Python homage. They did the Dead Friends sketch. Do you remember Kenny? Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was great. Ooh, I just realized BFAB is gone. I don't know when he left.
Yeah, he dropped off. I think he dropped off a while ago.
Yeah. Well, I apologize for BFAB. I apologize for not noticing, but it's okay because, in my own phrase, we have another jelly wrestler entering the pits. It is the one, the only, the Mr. Cy O'Connor.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, hey, mate, how's it going? I just said hi to you in the chat.
Chris? I know,
It's like an episode of The Simpsons predicting future events.
Pop straight in.
I mean, in all fairness, like I said, I often get his first name mixed up with Sarah Connor, so...
Sarah Connor, not Sinead O'Connor. Sarah Connor. That's a way better one to get confused with. As in, Sarah Connor's a way better one to get confused with.
Okay, I thought you were saying Sinead Connor was better.
No, Sarah Connor.
I was going to say, you made a few controversial statements on this show today, so that might be the one that finally does you in. I see you've got IKEA sets there.
I do.
Sweet.
Why?
Are they any good? Have you had to open them yet, or?
Yeah, I did 2 videos on them already.
I haven't seen that.
That one is the Lego one. So basically, there's Lego pieces in there.
Yeah.
Figures. And then this one is the well, I have it here open.
Let me make you bigger so people can see.
Yeah, there we go.
Get on.
So these are the boxes.
Oh, he's already got his clone troopers on top as well.
Sure do. So, give us a
I
second.
have to just wind you up though that like they bigged up this whole like collaboration with IKEA, and in the end, what do they come up with? A white box with studs on top.
The underneath is weird.
Yeah.
So that's very strange. It's like it clips into the bottom, and then this is like a base plate. Now they don't connect in like Lego, obviously because they're storage boxes, and you want to be able to take off the lid.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So people are like kind of freaking out. Oh, they don't stick. Well, they're not supposed to. But the clutch power on them is pretty good because obviously there's Lego studs on it. So it's good.
What does the plastic feel like? Does it feel like Lego plastic, or is it IKEA plastic, or is it Ikogo or Likea?
No, it's probably Lego.
That sounds like a horrendous thing you do not want to get.
I know, yeah.
It sounds like what DFAB was worried about earlier.
There's a cream for that, and then just you can stand minifigures up in them.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So yeah.
How big is it compared to like a 32 by 32 inch base plate? Is it like similar or like half the size? Or
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Oh, it's an awkward size.
Yeah. So is that why you guys subscribe to Craggle for see a guy counting to 22? Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, you can take me off that now.
Okay, I was just adoring your face. That's
Very
all.
big.
You've also got a little audience now. I look like your troops are just staring at you.
I know.
I can see some people in the chat are talking about the recent leaks. I mean, I can't show any pictures, but we can talk about them if you want. I mean,
Yeah.
the highlight for me of the ones I've seen so far have to be the Hogwarts classrooms. They look fantastic, I
They
think.
do.
I
They
didn't
look
see.
really cool.
Have you not seen them, Si?
No.
Well, the thing was, they were described as a bit like, I don't know if you've seen these ones, but there's like a series, I think, of Lego Disney Princess, like Friends mini doll sets that are kind of like the pop-up book without the pop-up aspect, basically. They're like a little book that you open up and it has like a scene in it. And you open it up and then it's like horizontal and you have a mini doll. And I think there's a couple of things that you can raise, but they don't pop up with the action of opening the book. And I thought they were going to be like that. And to an extent, they are on the outside. But rather than sort of open up flat on the table horizontal, when you open up the book, it sort of stands vertically. And then the scene comes out in front of it.
Right.
And each
That
one
sounds pretty good.
is basically like a classroom from Hogwarts. And I believe the book build on the exterior is meant to be like a different Hogwarts textbook. I think some people thought each one was going to be one of the the Harry Potter books, and the scene would be relating to that book, but it's not. I think they're meant to be like these are the books that the kids would have when they were in school in Hogwarts. So
yeah, I think each book is representative of the classroom in which it's displaying. So the book of potions is the potion class. But what's really cool is that I've seen from the original leaks is the fact that you don't have the same minifigs in each one. So Harry Potter's only in one of the books.
Yeah.
So if you get all of them, you've got no duplicate minifigs, which is pretty nice.
I can't wait.
I don't think they're exclusive minifigures, though. I think from what
No, they're not exclusive. No, they're not.
But it is good that you're not, because one thing I remember, like the Lego Batman movie, like I know obviously that they're gonna have Batman in every set, but I think there was only like 2 variants of him, and that was only just like the one expression, just his mouth.
Yeah,
they could have done different ones. Like I didn't get why in the food fight one they didn't do like a variant torso with like splatters of ketchup and mustard on him or something. So it's good that
the Batwing, because it's the same Batman that we had in the Batman.
Yeah, that is the thing that bugs me the most. I mean, the Batwing looks fantastic, and I love the new Joker. I mean, the Joker doesn't fit the scene, but they've already done the one that would. So I'm glad they chose a different one. And I like the Joker Goon. I was a bit surprised that they went with what was his name? They went with
Lawrence.
What's his name?
Lawrence.
I can catch that. Sorry, what did you say?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Yeah, they went with Lawrence. That's it. Yeah, I was trying to think of the line when he says Lawrence. They went with Lawrence rather than Bob, because Bob is his right hand man throughout the whole film until he shoots him. So I thought they were going to go with Bob, but because especially since Bob gets shot, in that scene after the Batwing comes and steals the Joker's balloons. And I don't think, Lawrence isn't even in the scene that the Joker's from in that black tuxedo.
No, Lawrence is only in one scene. He's only in the museum scene where they're like destroying all the paintings.
No, he is in a couple of other scenes. He's also in the one when they go to Vicky Vale's apartment. They put some music on there. He's always got the boombox, and now he puts the music on. When Bruce Wayne is there and he's about to tell Vicky Vale that he's Batman, and then the Joker turns up. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. But
on the pale of moonlight, I said of all my prey. I just kind of like the sound of it.
I love that. Honestly, it's such a great movie.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies growing up. But both of them, Batman and Batman Returns. Great as well.
I mean, unpopular opinion, but I actually don't think Batman Forever is as bad as people make out. I mean, compared to Batman and Robin, it's a flipping masterpiece. But
riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat?
It's definitely where things go so wrong. And I understand like what Joel Schumacher was saying, that in his head it was kind of basically like a big live action version of the Adam West series. But I didn't think it needed that. But honestly, I liked Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne Batman. I think, given a better script and a better,
I think it would have been a better film if Tim Burton had directed it and not produced it, to be honest.
If Tim Burton he only produced it in name only, just because it was on there. But if he directed it, Keaton would have stayed. Keaton left because Burton left, so...
And I think also, like, it's the same with what's he called? The guy who plays Lando. He left because he was Harvey Dent.
No, he actually didn't leave. They didn't want him. They wanted
Billy D. Williams. He was contracted for 3, wasn't he?
He was contracted, but it wasn't so much contracted for the film. But what it was in his contract, it was that if they ever make the character Harvey Dent into Two-Face, he would play him. So because they made Harvey Dent Two-Face, they had to hire him, but they wanted to go with a big name, and Tommy Lee Jones was massive at the time because of Under Siege and The Fugitive, which I think he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for, and they wanted him, so they actually had to pay Billy D. Williams a full salary. He got paid for doing a movie which he didn't film because basically to get him out of the contract. And I love Tommy Lee Jones, but that's probably his worst performance yet. He's not even playing Two-Face; he's basically playing the Joker in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the problem with Jim Carrey. I mean, Jim Carrey, I can tolerate a little bit more because, especially when you consider him being like a sort of big screen version of the Adam West Riddler, which also used to laugh quite a lot. But he feels like he wants to play the Joker rather than the Riddler,
I always think that he's kind of trying to be the Cable Guy in that film. Like it's very similar.
Didn't he come afterwards though? So maybe that was him like practicing or something. I don't know. I mean, what's funny about it is that we all, a lot of people don't like Batman Forever and call it a silly film, but the MCU liked it enough to copy the backstory for Iron Man 3. I mean, the Mandarin, was it Andrew Killian? His backstory in that is exactly the same as Edward Nygma's in Batman Forever.
Very true, actually.
He gets stood up, by going to show his designs to Bruce Wayne, but gets stood up, and he's like,
I actually quite liked Robin's origin story in that movie. It's not that bad. Like, he's the circus guy, and
it's pretty faithful. The problem with that is that because they wanted obviously an older Robin because they didn't really want to have a kid going around, it's kind of like, well, how old is he? They never actually say, but he mentions about going to college, or Bruce Wayne mentions about putting him into college, but then they also say that he's not old enough to be on his own, and that's why Bruce is asked to take him in, but then he wants to go off on his bike. It's a bit weird, but the funny thing is he has Dick Grayson's origin story, but personality-wise, he's a lot more like Jason Todd, if you've ever read the second Robin. He was much more of a hothead, much more arrogant and sort of, a bit more prone to violence and stuff. And
his costume is very Nightwing as well, isn't it, really? Like, the way they, the Robin costume.
He has a Nightwing costume, but they gave him the red logo before the comics did, and they put a cape on him and they called him Redbird instead. And I was like, really?
I love his origin story in the Batman Lego movie, though, where it's Jamaican Batman's costume. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. No. Rip.
I love it.
I really do like the Lego Batman movie.
First time.
Well, I feel like with Batman Forever, there's a good film in there. It's just buried under a lot of rubbish, whereas Batman and Robin is just...
Great song, though. Seal, Kiss of a Rose. Can't go wrong.
Batman Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman Forever's got an amazing soundtrack. It's got Offspring, U2, Seal. It's fantastic.
Nothing
Whereas
but the first one, 1989. Prince, the entire soundtrack is Prince.
That was amazing. That was just amazing.
apparently that's Tim Burton's least favorite aspect. They asked him recently, what do you regret about the 89 Batman film? And he says, having Prince do the music. He goes, I was a massive Prince fan at the time, and they were like, can we do something with him? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. But he says, I don't think it goes now. I mean, I think it does, but I know some people say it dates the film. Like, the whole film feels very timeless, apart from the soundtrack. I don't know. I like it.
I mean, the thing is, like, you're not going to get someone like Prince to, you know, if Prince, someone like that now, like say Madonna, well, not even Madonna, like maybe like Billie Eilish said, I'll do an entire soundtrack for a film. They're not going to turn it down, are they? And Prince would be massive there.
No.
Like, I mean, Prince is basically the Joker. Even in his music videos, he literally looks like the Joker anyway. No one realizes he's dressed up as the Joker. He just looks like Prince. Like, it's the same character. But I would have had a Prince minifigure in the Batwing. That would have been awesome.
Oh my god!
I wanted a Bruce Wayne minifigure of Keaton's Bruce Wayne. I don't know if you saw it, but I mentioned in your stream earlier, like in terms of gift with purchase, I know a lot of people would assume that we'd get a minifig scale 89 Batwing.
Yeah.
How we got the 89 minifig scale Batmobile. I didn't really want that because one thing I thought would be good when the Batman came out was a little like sort of scene build of the Bat computer from the Batcave from the 89 film, because I love that.
That would be cool.
But they could have done.
I want that Batmobile again. I want them to redo it because I never got it.
I'm surprised they haven't done that as like one of the things on VIP, because they've done that with other promos, but I know that one sold out pretty quickly, so maybe they just haven't got any more and they didn't want to make any more of it. But
if that was a gift with purchase, I would buy that Batwing day one because I really want that Batmobile. It's so cool.
Yeah, mine's still in a box. I haven't built it. I mean, I didn't have room for that and the big one, and I was like, well, I might as well keep it in the box for now because it's only going to go up in value. But
yeah, I still haven't. Well, that's like that set is I think the cheapest I've seen it on Britlink is at like 90 quid for that Batman.
The other thing, I mean, I love it. It was a fantastic gift with purchase. Again, like basically another complete set, really.
Yeah.
But it came out the same year as a Lego DC Superheroes Batmobile, which
I got that one.
Looked very similar. You know, it looked like it was the same build. So that's another reason why I decided not to build mine. I mean, I don't generally get sets and keep them just for the value, but with that one I figured, well, it's so similar to the ones I've already built and I've got nowhere to display it. I might as well keep it sealed for now, and then I can always decide what to do with it, you know, in the future.
Yeah, no, definitely. I need to still buy that Batmobile. Have you got the Batmobile, Si, the big one?
Not yet. No, it's definitely. It's not. I don't class
of your lives.
It's not expensive, so I will get it. I don't class it being expensive as for what you get, and the minifigures in an expensive set like that are always going to keep value. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to get. It's like as long as my leg.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I would probably say it's my second favorite Lego set of all time.
Wow.
The first one is probably the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and that one would be. I mean, and yes, there's a certain amount of, I don't know if you call it bias, but there's a certain element to that because I love Ghostbusters, I love Batman 89, I love the licenses, but I honestly think they're two fantastic sets. And the Batmobile 89, I think, is a testament to how much I love it, considering I generally tend to stay away from sets that are minifig scale. And that is near minifig scale, you know, but I had to get it day one, and it's been built almost immediately, and it's been on display ever since, and I have no plans whatsoever to take it down, you know?
I actually have the minifigures.
Oh, really?
I bought them. I bought them on Britlink.
I thought you were going to say that you met some shady person on the internet in a car park or something.
No, I bought that because I mean I saw that Tim Burton Batman minifig. I was like, I need that in my collection. It's an awesome minifig, and I decided, like, I'm like you, Craggle. I don't buy not minifig scale stuff. So and I don't buy the big cars, which is what I've always said. Like, I won't buy the big cars, even though they're awesome. It's just something. Don't get them in the. You know, it's one thing that I don't have to buy. But then with the Batwing that's just come out, it's like, oh, that looks really cool hanging on the wall, and the Batmobile would look awesome underneath. And it's like, oh, now I want to get both of them.
I'm really torn because honestly, it looks fantastic hanging on the wall. But I also really like how they've done the stand for it. You can have it angled in different ways and have an action pose. It almost makes me buy two, one to have on the wall, one to post. That would be a bit ridiculous, though.
I just think it looks. I mean, if you got a lighting kit for that and had it on the wall, it would just look insane. It just looks cool anyway, but lit up would just look incredible. Like, it looked like the bat symbol. Like,
even if you just, I think, got like an LED light just to go between the wall and that, and just have like sort of coming out across the sides on the wall, that would look amazing. I think.
Yeah. It would look wicked.
I don't think we'll get any more stuff like this. I'm hoping that they might do a Batman Returns set next. And I had forgotten until someone mentioned it in the chat, I think on a previous live stream, about the Batboat that's in Batman Returns.
Yeah, so that was the thing that I thought the Batwing was when we saw the really rubbish shots of it, because I thought that would be great because you could do that. You could have a Penguin side build and you could have Catwoman, and it would be Batman, Catwoman, and Penguin as the characters, but obviously they didn't do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they saw the blurred image of the Joker in the black tux, assumed that it was the Penguin, and I was like, no, if it's the Batwing, it's not going to be the Penguin, it's going to be his black tuxedo Joker. And people are like, oh, no, they won't do that. And I'm like, oh, well, they did. I love that figure, but yeah, I don't get why they didn't do a different Keaton Batman. Like, one thing I thought was that the Batwing is I think, a different scale than the 89 Batmobile, because technically, if it was, it would be a bigger set when this one's slightly smaller. And the cockpit looks just above minifig scale. So first of all, when I saw the first picture, I wondered if the cockpit would be minifig scale, and you'd get one with like a flexible cape so you could put the figure in the cockpit. Yeah. Obviously, I've seen bare pictures now, and we know that actually, no, it is entirely not minifig scale. The cockpit is like minifig plus a third. But I still think, like, if they wanted to do one, they could have had like a battle damaged one, after the Batwing's crash, when he's got a little bit of blood and his suit's a bit dusty and torn up. That would have been cool. Just repeating the same minifigure feels like a bit of a cop-out, to be honest with you.
I think they could have actually removed Batman from it, because they still have the 1989 one on sale. I think they could have had them both side by side, because I think the thing is they have the same stand with each other, and now you're going to have two identical Batmans in your same collection, which I think if they'd have got a Bruce Wayne, it would have been a lot cooler. Or even if it was two goons, you could have had Joker and two goons.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, they've proved with the choice of minifigures, the other two, that they're not related to the scene that the Batwing appears in. I mean, the Batmobile, you had the Joker in his main outfit, so that kind of goes. And you had Vicky Vale in the outfit. I think it was the same outfit from the scene where Batman rescues her from the museum, the art gallery.
Yeah, the green dress.
Yeah, so that fitted. I kind of wanted them to do one of the Joker's outfit where he has like that painter's cap to one side, and has like the when the makeup coming down his face after she throws the water at him.
Yeah,
I thought they could have done that, but they did, the iconic Joker, which I understood. This time they've done the tuxedo suit, which is really nice, and then they've done Lawrence the Goon. I just feel like they could have, added, like I said, either added in Bob, or they could have done a battle damaged Batman, or just something a bit different, It didn't need to be the exact same Batman. Only going to have these two sets, I think, are designed to be displayed together.
Yeah.
Fans have that great continuity if they have the same minifig stand, but you're going to have two of the same figure, and I just feel like that's not needed.
No, I completely agree. I mean, it would have even been cool if they'd have done one with like a different cape that's not the flex cape, just so you've got the two options there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still going to get it, and I still think that is probably my own minor quibble with it. That and the fact that I still hate the fact you have these UCS, premium sets, and the plaque is a sticker rather than a printed piece.
Oh, that annoys me. I mean, this is what's so stupid. I've been building brickheads a lot recently. They're all prints.
Yeah.
Like I was on the last stream we were just on, I was building the Stormtrooper helmet. Steph was building the Stormtrooper brickhead. The Stormtrooper brickhead has like 4 or 5 different unique prints on it. The Stormtrooper one has stickers all over it. It's like, what? One's a £10 set, one's a £55 set. It's crazy.
I mean, I kind of get to an extent. I don't agree with it, but I get like how they can justify having printed pieces in a 4+ set. Because it's left them to apply stickers. Although you have other manufacturers that have stickers in those sets, and they just say get a grown up to help you. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why they don't do that. But I think surely in Lego's budget, there's the room. Like, okay, we'll do the printed pieces for the 4+ set, so kids haven't got to struggle with stickers, and we'll do them in the premium UCS sets. And in the middle, then is stickers. I mean, I would ideally like everything printed, but I'm a realist. I understand that's not possible. But I think it is possible when you're chucking down hundreds of pounds or hundreds of dollars on a premium set that says like 18+ and stuff like that on there. It should have printed pieces, you know?
I agree. I mean, I only started collecting Lego outside of Star Wars this year, which is weird. But
really? So you were a Star Wars collector?
Yeah, I was Star Wars through.
From when you were talking about Star Wars on your stream earlier.
Yeah, Star Wars is my massive thing. I was only joking about most of Star Wars. Yeah, I'm really big into Star Wars. And yeah, it was so weird going out of it and like getting like Barracuda Bay and the modulars and everything's printed, no stickers. And you think, what is going on? I mean, even like the NES, everything's printed. It's absolutely incredible.
I think
Star Wars, they won't even print like even Mos Eisley. There's a picture in there that's C-3PO and R2-D2, and it's a sticker. It's like you could use that in multiple sets.
Yeah.
Just make it print. Like it's really weird. Some of the stuff that they decide to use as stickers.
I think with the I forgot what you were going to say now. What was the one set you mentioned? The
NES.
There's a sticker on the cartridge, which really annoyed me. But their rationale was it would have been a sticker on the original cartridge. They wanted to have that feel.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. Again, ideally, I hate the stickers, particularly big, large ones or small, fiddly ones. The ones in the middle are okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. And then like with the the helmet sets, these were kind of like the first ones with that 18+ with the premium for adults like packaging and that sort of like that campaign that they've started recently. And it's like you do that and then you give us a Stormtrooper helmet that has what is it 8 stickers on each side of his face?
It is. I've got the sticker sheet right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 in total. 5 each.
Okay. But you've also got is there more than that? Is there the ones in the eyes or are those printed pieces?
No, so it's got 4 down the sides, like I said, for the vents, and then there's 2 down the grill corners of the grill.
Yeah.
The eyes are all just black.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Iron Man eyes, sorry, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that put me off that one. I didn't like the Stormtrooper one anyway. Originally, I only liked the TIE Fighter one. I was on the fence with the Boba Fett or Boba Fett.
I keep calling him Boba Fett. I don't know why I keep calling him Boba Fett.
I've always called him Boba Fett.
Yeah, me too.
And what's happened is the Americans call him Boba, and I've just picked that up now. But it sounds weird because in the UK, if you say Bo, it means body odor.
Yeah, Bo, yeah. I always call him Boba Fett.
What happened to you, Si? You dropped out. We're not good enough for you anymore. You like General Zod the Phantom Zone then, like you were in that like.
I didn't know you brought me back, and I was I was looking at myself going, it's not faded anymore. Oh crap, I'm on the stream.
But yeah, what I was going to, for the helmets I was on about, like they're stickers, but actually their little plaques are prints.
Yeah.
So like the UCS ones are stickers, yeah. The helmets are prints, and even the Yoda ones are print as well. The gift with purchase is a print. Yeah.
The only thing I've figured out, and I don't know why this is, if the plaque is on a tile that has studs around the outside, it's printed. If the plaque is just a flat tile, it's a sticker. That's the pattern I've noticed, but don't ask me why.
There is actually, I've got a set that bends that rule. The Millennium Falcon has one that has a sticker in that style, and it's the gunshots on the right. That is on one of those tiles, and you use a sticker for it.
Oh no, I mean in terms of the plaques. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, the plaques. Yeah,
no, surely there are like exceptions to that within builds, but I mean in terms of like the plaques, because you have 2 types. You have the ones with the studs on the top and the sides. And then you have just the plain tile one.
What are the? No, interestingly, though, the 40th Empire one has studs at the bottom, and that's a sticker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're stickers. They are 40th Empire one.
They're just messing with me now, aren't they? They're just like, how can we see Crackle's head even further?
Have you seen the new one that's been announced for that? The God, my mind's gone. The Nebula.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like it until I saw the Falcon. I like how they've done the micro build of the Falcon using the gun piece for the front of it.
Yeah.
Because to me, that doesn't look like a Falcon because they look like they're turret guns rather than sort of the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get it, but the shipping is incredibly expensive from America at the moment. It's mad.
It's so annoying that they're like, we're not going to do any more regional exclusives, but all these exclusives that we had for a convention, we're going to give to the wide public. The wide public being America.
Yeah.
You're not even an American company. You're a European company. Like, come on.
The thing I don't like about that is, okay, it's fine to have your exclusives to Comic-Con and stuff, but as soon as you put it onto Lego, the Lego website, to me that becomes a regional exclusive because it's Lego. There's no way out of it.
You're 100% correct. Exactly how I feel about it. Exactly.
What's annoying as well is I think they should have done it with VIP raffles because you can actually buy 3 in one go. So it's not like there's a massive shortage of them, but they should have done them as like a raffle.
I don't know about raffle, but I think they definitely should have been made available only to like VIP, and you can use your VIP points to buy them because that also stops people just sign up for VIP to get access to it.
Yeah.
Or even
that rewards then people who are loyal to Lego because you have to have the points there to buy it.
Yeah.
Instead, they've just gone, oh, here, scalpers, go have fun, be free.
Like 3 at a time.
Even if they made it available to the people that had the black VIP card, I mean, then it could have made it,
that was the most pointless thing ever. What has become of the black VIP card? It does nothing. Oh, that was such a load of baloney, that was. Yeah. I mean, I don't know I think Greg mentioned it on Bricks and Breads, but Greg is shipping me over the Wonder Woman DC Fandom set and also the Bespin Duel, which I'm really looking forward to. But like recently we've had like the Mario one. I know there's nothing exclusive in there, but the missus really wanted it and it's the cheapest way to get towed. But what's weird with that is I think someone told me that I always get her name wrong. Potter Minifig Gal. She apparently found the set in her like Discovery Center and she's in Australia. So it's like, how did it wind up over there?
Wow.
But not the Mario one, I mean, and that was originally going to be like I think a Comic-Con or something exclusive.
Yeah, it's Comic-Con exclusive.
But the Nebula, I don't know what's going to happen with that. It's probably going to be a similar, fiasco.
It was the same with the Black Widow one as well.
Is that come out yet or not?
No, it's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive as well.
But I mean, have they put it on their website or in Walmart?
No. Neither the Nebula. The Nebula I heard was actually leaked by Levi accidentally.
What of all people?
Yeah, on their app or something. I don't even know how that was possible. But yeah, so I don't think either of them have been announced yet. But I'm guessing there'll be like the Fandom one where there'll be plenty available. You can buy 3 if you want.
Yeah, it's so bad though. I mean, Lego is so bad at the way they do this. They need to fire whoever's their head of marketing or something because it's a joke. And they're not benefiting from the scarcity of this. Only the scalpers are, the third-party sellers. They're the ones who are benefiting. And Lego say like, they're supposed to be a very, fan-orientated. They want to make people better. They want to make people happy and all that kind of stuff. And then they allow or they enable this kind of behavior of scalpers and stuff. And it's just ridiculous. But I am looking forward to getting the Wonder Woman set and the Bespin Duel. I know, again, people would like, there's nothing unique about the Wonder Woman set. They just reuse minifigures, but I think it's a good-looking set. And
it's a really cool. It's got that print. That print's unique. That 5% print thing on the.
I love the fact that it's a recreation of a classic cover as well. I don't know if you saw. I did a video a while back when the DC CMF came out, and I was like, rather than give them these ankle pieces or the clear plastic pieces, so they can be posed. I think people would be a lot more willing to pay the extra price if they had given every character a printed tile with a classic comic cover on there, like they did with Batmite.
Yeah, Batmite was my favorite because of that detective number 1. Such a cool print.
Can you imagine? Collectors would love that. I think general casual fans would be interested. With like, oh, that's quite cool. There's a comic on there. Mock builders would be buying them because they would want like to have multiples like in a comic book shop in there and stuff. It would have been so cool. And I think it would have cost, not much more to produce. But I don't know. I'm not in charge of Lego, unfortunately. Maybe one day.
I mean, I think the Bespin Duel one's pretty cool because you have got that Vader with the side arm printing, which is the cheapest.
Yeah. Is the Luke? Is that the one from the Master Builder?
Yeah, it's from the what's it called?
Trail on Cloud City, I think. Is it that one?
Trail on Cloud City. But apparently he's coming in next month's magazine anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, next month Star Wars magazine. He's coming in it apparently, so I'm going to get definitely that magazine to get a duplicate.
I thought they showed the tie dagger on the one because I got sent the recent Lego mag for free from Immediate Media, who are the publishers, to review. On the back of that one, it shows like a mini build.
Oh, maybe that was a fake news then.
Unless it's the month after, because sometimes what I've noticed is that on the continent, like the ones in Germany and stuff, have like the minifigures or the gift with purchases, like just the free foil bags in a different order. Like they had the same minifigures on the Lego Hidden Side magazine, but they had them with different issues. It was really bizarre. Wow. So maybe that's what's happened. I don't know. Who knows?
So I'm guessing this year they're not doing any exclusive Brickhead, because they usually do a Brickhead at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with that either. Look, wait a sec. Let's see if I can get that on camera. It's quite tight. You see that? Shows the tie dagger.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
It doesn't say when it's out. It says next issue randomly.
Why would anyone want that? I don't even want the full built tie dagger, so I don't want a mini build one.
Dorito dagger, isn't it? Or Dorito fighter, yeah.
I literally bought that just for the minifigs. Like, I don't often do that with a set, but that one was definitely for the minifigs.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a special guest in the chat. We've got Atise's life.
Hey, Atise.
I think she's the daughter of a certain celebrity. I can't think who though.
Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor. BFAB. Yeah. I want to know where BFAB went. He just left us, didn't he? I didn't know he'd gone.
There's some Lego news.
He's on lunch break. She's on his lunch break, isn't he, when he pops on?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's normally on his lunch break, yeah. He was on your stream for a bit, though, so...
Yeah, he gets up early, I think, because I do it quite early for mine. I think he was, gets up and... I think he was usually, listens whilst having a shower or something.
Oh, God. Someone said that, or was it on Greg's stream? He did a Breaking It Down one the night, just like an impromptu stream, and someone said, I really like listening to your podcast, Missing Pieces, whilst in the shower, and I was like, oh, Although it's not the weirdest thing I've heard about doing in the shower. Apparently, Brickdalot, who's another one of the gang, likes to eat a sandwich in the shower.
What?
Yeah. Just
that is weird.
I know. Apparently, I was the only one who thought it was really weird. Everyone agreed it was weird, but I was the most not outright.
That's really weird.
I don't know. Is it maybe it's the way forward? Maybe it's the future. Eating a sandwich in the shower.
I suppose it's multitasking.
I get if you get any crumbs or mustard on you, it comes straight off in the shower, doesn't it?
Oh. It'd even make more sense if it was toast, because obviously if you're trying to rush to work, you might be eating your breakfast whilst having a shower. But to actually go ahead and make a sandwich, that's a midday thing. That's something you've actually gone through the effort of making.
I remember when I was working on this short film before the crew on there, one of the cast members told us that when they were in uni, they used to have basically they had a house and they had a shared bathroom. And this one guy who spent hours in the bathroom, in the shower and doing his hair. But when they used to go in after him, there was always empty cans of tuna in the bath. And they were like, we don't know what he's doing in there. Why is he eating tuna in the bath? Or what's going on? Why does he take him out afterwards? Why does he just keep leaving these empty cans of tuna? And it wasn't just one, it'd be 2, 3, 4 at a time.
It's gross.
What's wrong with people,
That is great.
I understand a few cans in the bath or whatever, but that's
typical Irish man. Yeah, have a few beers.
Well, yeah, but if you're at uni, I can imagine. Yeah, a couple of beers in the shower or something.
Yeah, just bring a bag of cans in.
I have a dog. I used to do that all the time before going out because I was still hungry. It's
yeah, but there you go.
I know.
Maybe that can be a Lego set, someone having a sandwich with a can of tuna and a beer in the bath or something.
We need to find a Lego builder that builds Lego sets whilst having a shower. That's cool.
that would
really hurt. Starting to prune because you've been in the shower so long and then you step on a Lego brick. That could be.
I almost kind of want to do a video of that now because you just know that it will get so many views. Go, I built a Lego set whilst in the bath or something. You know? I mean, you get even more views if you were a flea male, as BFAB says. You know,
will it float? Technically,
will never float your boat. Will I finish this set before all the bubbles go?
Yeah, definitely don't do the stickers in the bath.
Yeah. Will I finish this set before the water gets cold?
I feel like the UCS Millennium Falcon in the bath.
Oh my god.
You probably wouldn't be able to get out. It'd probably fill the bath.
Well, I'm not sure. There's a comment here from Seth Bland says, "Hey, Crackle, you should call the question you asked Greg on Bricks and Brits the You Don't Know Brit question of the month."
That's pretty good. You don't know Brit, like as in.
Oh yeah, like I get it. Like you don't know. Yeah.
You don't know Brit. That's a great idea, actually.
That's not bad. I like that actually. Slow moment. Sorry, there. I was like, duh. Sorry. It's been a long day, but yeah, that's pretty good. That moment is just Craggle's quiz, isn't it? So.
Craggle's quiz.
Terrible name. Who would ever call it that? I've done something wrong here. I know I have. I've missed out a bit.
Craggle's Den's not a healthy channel, by the way. I think you should remove it. I'm just saying that. Your Craggle's Den channel that you just set up, because that's a collector channel for everything that's not Lego, and that's dangerous for me because I only need to collect Lego, please. Like
I thought you said it's not a good channel. Take it down, please.
No,
I was like, yeah, okay.
It's a dangerous channel. It's not good.
Yeah, apparently Greg didn't watch any more videos on there because he kept getting tempted to buy Funko Pops.
That's what I mean. Like I have addictive personality. Like if I bought one, I would. Like, that's what happened with Brickheads. I got literally the Mandalorian one when I have this backpack, and then I got the you were showing it earlier. I got the Hagrid and Buckbeak one free. Oh, there we go. I mean, all this Waldo. That's awesome.
It would be better if it said "Where's Wally" on it, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, totally.
That's true.
Yeah.
But do you keep them in the boxes then, Si?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Sprint.
Green Giant. Ho, ho,
That
ho.
is amazing. Addictive. That's why
I may or may not have bought some more Funko Pops the other day, actually.
I'll give you put me back in the big one for a second, and I'll give you an exclusive.
Oh, okay. I like exclusives.
Oh,
Oh,
Seeks. Oh,
No one has ever seen that on the internet before.
that is
Oh,
crazy,
wow.
man.
there's some chases up there as well.
Does that say
Oh.
Doctor Strange up there?
Yeah, Doctor Strange is up there. Yeah, he came
Oh,
in that box thing. The orange thing was Conan O'Brien.
Wow.
The missus just said you've got something, but I don't know what it is. Do you want to tell him what he's got?
A big glow in the dark Karama.
Yeah.
That sounds like something you don't want to catch as well. Oh, that one, yeah, because
I got the regular version.
you've got the regular version, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
120 euros at the moment.
I thought it was Pikachu at first.
Yeah, but the glow is really good on that as well. Really good.
I've got a glow in the dark Hercules chase. That's pretty good.
Oh, I got the,
Yeah, I can't do that. It's just not good for me to.
Oh, He-Man.
He-Man.
That's cool.
Like,
Yeah, Chris, your favorite DC character is Batman, isn't it?
massively.
Okay, hang
Well, you didn't know Batman Day was a thing, though, did you? Oh. Now, see, I don't even know.
Is Batman Day a new thing? Like, I've never.
Been around about 5 years now.
Wow, I've
Yeah.
never heard of it.
Fine.
I think it came round, what was it, the 75th anniversary was the first time they did it, I think, something like that.
Wow. That one looks like me.
It does a bit. It looks like you inside a baby. Oh, see, I'm not a fan of the chrome ones, but that blue chrome Batman looks really good.
Wait, yeah. What's that something you could like mount on the front of your car or something?
Yeah,
Here's a chrome one for you.
Oh,
That's
that's sweet as well.
yeah.
I love the brick head of Vader because he looks so weird. Like the chibi looks really funny. Like
The brickhead of Vader looks a lot like the brickhead of The brickhead of
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Mr. Meeseeks is amazing.
Isn't he? He's so cool.
Yeah, the brickhead of Vader looks a lot like the Funko Pop of Vader. I feel like they took a lot of inspiration. from that
Definitely.
one.
Like that's what I meant. Like he's right here. There we go.
Yeah, that was
But
Yeah.
I was just saying, like I literally started collecting brickheads with the Mandalorian one came out, and these are just this week that I bought. That's why I shouldn't collect pop figures.
Wow, that's a cool collection.
What, you've got all that in just 1 week?
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're the ones that I
I
haven't
feel
built.
like we should do an intervention for you, Chris.
That includes all of the ones that I built today. So that includes these ones as well, like Leia, the Stormtrooper, Luke, and Yoda, and Vader. I bought them all this week. Like that's why
Oh my word!
I've got all of these are all the Iron Man
Marvel.
ones. Then
Yeah.
these are all the Guardians of the Galaxy ones. They are the Halloween ones, and they are the Christmas ones. Yeah, I got them all this week. So yeah, that's why I can't collect pop figures.
That's pretty funny.
I am obsessed. That's why I have a very collective, like addictive personality.
Yeah, I love collecting stuff. I always have, though. I used to collect all Star Wars action figures and stuff. Problem was, I had a house fire.
Oh, is that Zurg? Not Zurg. What's it called? The one that takes over the. That is
Oh, wait a sec.
Oh yeah, yeah, Kang. That's it. That's his name.
Oh, from the Halloween special, weren't they?
Yeah. I've got loads of the Halloween ones as well. I mean, there's a cool Bart one here. Hang on. As well. That's Bart. Remember that one where he swapped his body and he became half fly, half fly?
I like that. They've got more complicated with the designs because originally they were like stick men with their arms by the side, all in the same pose.
Do you see that translucent piece is actually
Yeah, snot coming out.
Yeah.
Like I went to when we went to the to get Mos Eisley, I popped in. There's the Disney stores above it in Manchester, so I just like popped in, and they had like 5 different versions of the child now. Like they've got him with a dog in his mouth, or like holding his hand out, or the bowl of soup.
The missus was going to collect them, and there's even more to come, by the way. And there is a minor spoiler. I hope it's minor spoiler for season 2 that Funko have kind of ruined a little bit with the reveal of one of the Funko Pops. So be careful with that.
I don't really mind too much about the spoilers anyway. To be honest, I'm like one of the people like roots around the internet trying to find anything about Mandalorian. So I've heard rumors that the thing was out that
yeah, that was fake. That was
fake. Yeah,
they've pretty much debunked that. It made no sense anyway because they were saying that he didn't like the fact that he couldn't take his helmet off, and that he thought that he would be showing his face a lot more and all this kind of stuff. But the thing was, they cast him when they'd already filmed I think 60% of the series, so he knew exactly what he was getting into. So that seemed unlikely. Plus, they even said that whilst they wanted to have him in the suit, they also wanted to still have opportunities for the two. I think it was 2 stuntmen that were previously in the suits before they cast Pedro Pascal, because originally it was like 2 stuntmen who were playing him, and they decided Pedro's voice in afterwards. So it all seemed a bit iffy, like no, the actor doesn't like wearing a helmet. He thought that he was going to be able to see his face on screen, so he's quit. He's walked out, and the series, like the last 3 episodes, aren't even going to have him in it. It was like, really?
To be honest, like I think it's actually a good thing. Like no one who's got their face shown in Star Wars has ever done well with their career anyway. Bar like Harrison Ford. I was just going to say bar Harrison Ford. Like because even Daisy Ridley's like been struggling with work now, haven't they? They've been saying like because she's can't.
Daisy Ridley though, I don't know. The more I look back at the trilogy, the more I kind of find her a bit wooden, to be honest with you. So
I just think it was just a bad script, if I'm being honest. Like
the
more you watch Last Jedi, the more you kind of even as a fan. I wasn't a fan of Last Jedi. I've never been a fan of Last Jedi. I'm not gonna lie, but it just made the trilogy so it didn't flow. Like it hadn't.
It made it all pointless.
Yeah,
and the Rise of Skywalker tried to correct it, but even that kind of also added to that in the sense of bringing Palpatine back, because it just basically means that the whole triumph of the original trilogy and the victory the characters had is for naught.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter Anakin's story. It doesn't matter Luke's story because all you need at the end was Rey. All you need is Rey. It basically should be the title of Star Wars now. All you need is Rey.
Saga. It should have been about Anakin, really. Like,
well, Anakin's not. His name is not even said in any of the sequels.
No.
I just don't get that. They keep on referring to Vader. No one points out, well, you know, Vader actually redeemed himself at the end. I just don't understand that. And someone says, oh, it's because they wanted to distance themselves from the prequels. I think, well, I don't buy that because, for one, the prequels have kind of, you know, they've people have got more warm to them in time than they were when they first come out. You know, the Clone Wars cartoon also is a big part of that. And plus, they do reference the prequels in the sequel trilogy. They mention the Clone Army in Force Awakens. In the Last Jedi, they referred to Darth Sidious rather than the Emperor. They say, you know, the Empire was ruled by Darth Sidious. You know, he was never called Darth Sidious until the prequels. So I don't get like why they completely left out Anakin. Apparently, at one point, he was going to come back as a Force ghost in some concept art, but I just...
Well, Hayden Christensen's apparently going to be in the Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so bad. Like, I remember like when, you know, they first did the Force Awakens, and I acknowledge that, you know, they borrowed heavily from A New Hope, but I felt like that was intentional. I felt like, you know, they were playing the long game and they were planning something, you know, and it wasn't going to be just a redo of the original trilogy, but that's kind of exactly what it turned out to. Because, you know, The Last Jedi hates it, and yeah, it subverts expectations, but even with all the expectations subverted, it's still basically a lesser version of Empire Strikes Back. You still have someone go off to go train with someone. You still have the characters split up. You know, you still have. You know, it just. Oh,
I think it took all the bad bits of Empire, and they were the best bits of Last Jedi, because like there was nothing like with the Empire. Like, with Empire at the end, everything's trashed. Luke's lost his arm. You know, he's getting all man. You know, Han Solo's gone. You know, he's now in carbonite and taken away. The galaxy's like lost, but at the same point, you want to know what's happening to those characters. At the end of The Last Jedi, you don't care. Like Luke's
not as they had
a rock. Like Rey just literally just carries all those. They're in ruins. There's nothing left. There's no character arcs to really venture towards. You're just not bothered.
The whole speech. I mean, Mark Hamill's a fantastic actor, and I think he gave the best performance he could with a terrible script. But the whole line as well, where he says like, the war is just beginning. I'm thinking that's not a message you even want to tell to your audience when it's the 8th film of a 9-film story. Yeah. When it kept, I mean, the biggest problem was they kept saying this was part of the same storyline. It should have been this is a new chapter, because I remember when they first announced The Force Awakens and they announced they were going to do these what they called at the time the Star Wars anthology movies, and she said we have the idea that every 10, 15 years or so, we'll do a new Star Wars trilogy, which will be like the episode numbers, and it will tell the story of this big dynasty, the Skywalkers, who have this profound impact on the galaxy at large, and that will be like a new generation's tale every 15 to 20 years or so. In between that, we'll tell stories that are set within the Star Wars galaxy and be about other characters. And I thought, okay, I get on board with that. But somewhere along the lines, they decided that they weren't going to do that and give this trilogy a new story. They were just going to say, oh, it's the culmination of the 2 trilogies before it. And that in itself was a risky move, because you risk undermining what's come before. But then when they just rehashed it and basically said, oh yeah, like the Emperor wasn't really defeated, the First Order is basically just the Empire rather than it being a new threat. It just, Luke never made the Jedi come back. You know, he failed to bring the Jedi back. It just was a massive slap in the face, really, to the fans, I think.
Yeah.
I think also, like, for Luke's character, like, no matter what, like, in Return of the Jedi, like, he risks everything to go back to to redeem his father, and then just, like, try and stab his nephew in the back. He just wouldn't do that.
The whole way through Return of the Jedi, everyone is telling him, like, there's no hope for his dad. Like, you know, you've got Yoda even says, like, Vader was consumed with his dying breath, pretty much. You know, Ben's ghost then says to him, "Look, I once thought I could bring your father back, but there is no coming back. We need you to kill him." Leia says, "Run away! Don't even face him. Just be gone. Don't go near him." He's telling everyone, like, I've sensed good in him. I can bring him back, and he risks everything to do that. So have that character then, raise his lightsaber to kill his nephew because he sensed darkness in his future just made no sense whatsoever.
It's also like how Kylo like obsesses over Vader. Yet you know that Luke would have told him that he redeemed himself in the end. That's the whole story. You know, he would have said that. Luke would have told his grandson that, well, his nephew, sorry, that like, you know, Anakin. He's a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi. So technically, he would train so that Kylo could even see his father. But you never, the whole bit doesn't even come into the film.
No, it's a massive plot hole because they had Anakin as a Force ghost, and then they have Yoda turn up. It's like, well, if Yoda can come back, why can't Ben? Why can't Anakin? We've seen them as ghosts before. I mean, there was a thing in the old books in the 90s in the expanded universe where I think Obi-Wan appeared to Luke and he said, "Look, this is the last time I can actually talk to you because you can only hold on your conscious in the Force for so long, and then you have to sort of go over to basically the afterlife, the next phase, and he imparts some last wisdom." But that obviously that's got thrown out the window, you know, when they talk.
The only thing that's like that, I think, that's canon now is Qui-Gon Jinn can't manifest himself. I think that's in the Clone Wars, if I remember rightly, where basically he's the first one that masters it, and he can only do it by voice and not actual.
He did it after the fact. Yeah, he did it after he died. He clung on when really.
We see Anakin at the end. We see Anakin at the end of Return of the Jedi, so he could happily just come back and be like,
dude, what you doing?
Hi Ben. Hi Ben. Why are you agonizing over my melted helmet? I was a good guy. Yeah.
I mean, you have to say like you can't because Anakin moved on after that. Like he came back to say goodbye to his son and he passed on. There's so many different things. Like even in their own continuity, Disney did the book. They said the reason why Leia's not a politician in The Force Awakens because her career in the New Republic got basically sabotaged when people found out that she was the daughter of Vader. So they like bombed that. So you could have had something like, you know, that is not even mentioned. And it's like you have no idea what's happened to the galaxy at large in the sequel trilogy. There's other books I know that you can look into, but as an actual storyline, it just doesn't make sense. You have that one shot of what a lot of people thought was Coruscant, but it wasn't. It was a different city planet where the New Republic is based that gets destroyed by Starkiller Base. But we have no idea of what the New Republic looks like. You know, what exactly is the problem with it? Why isn't it working? How have the First Order? Like, why do we need a resistance? Resistance normally, is normally refers to like an occupying force. But at this point, we're told that the New Republic considers the First Order as kind of like, you know, not a real threat. They're kind of just on the fringes. So it makes no sense to me. There's so much wrong with it. And the problem is because of what happens in the second film, particularly, and also to a lesser extent the third one, the first film now doesn't feel as good.
Yeah.
Like The Force Awakens, I was happy with when it first came out, but now knowing what happens, even The Force Awakens doesn't feel like a very good film.
Well, that's what I mean. With Force Awakens, I kind of got it. Like, I know. Well, I don't want to. Like, we can just spoilers now, can't we? It's been a while. So, like Han Solo, you know, it's a terrible ending. I wish we would have seen those three actors in the same room as each other, but it makes sense. Harrison Ford didn't really want to come back anyway. I get it. I think there were some really cool things, like you heard the whispers of the Knights of Ren. That sounded pretty cool. You had Snoke, who was this awesome dude, you know, finishing Kylo's training, and all of that stuff just got destroyed in the second movie. It's like, who's Snoke? Don't know, don't care. Who are the Knights of Ren? Don't know, don't care.
I absolutely hate Rian Johnson, and I used to like his films. Like I remember seeing this film Brick and thought it was fantastic. I've gone back to it since. Before Last Light came out, and I was actually like, oh, okay, that wasn't as good as I remember it. It was more style of the substance. But I feel like he's a guy who's really high on his own supply. And I think what the problem is that they rushed Force Awakens to get it done, because they wanted a quick profit on their investments. But even then, they had J.J. Abrams, they had Lawrence Kasdan on board. They set up stuff that they could then move forward with. And they had a rough plan for the next 2 episodes. They had treatments written. But Rian Johnson has said that he never even read the treatment. Because they handed it to him, and they basically said to him, like, Kathleen Kennedy said, you don't have to do that if you want to. That's just what we were sort of coming up with when we made the first film, or when we were making it. Because he wrote his draft when they were still, I think, editing The Force Awakens before it was released. And he didn't even see The Force Awakens when he wrote the script. So it's just like he just kind of went off and did his own thing. And
you can kind of tell that even with Luke, like not even Luke's portrayal, that's fine. But if you actually remember the end, I found this really funny when I watched it back a couple of times. Like at the end of Force Awakens, he's in this like heavenly monk outfit standing there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he throws the lightsaber off the cliff. Then you see him again, and he's in like drag. Like he's in like a this hideous bum that's been on the island. It's like,
I mean, this is actually something I said because we went and saw The Last Jedi on the midnight screening back to back with The Force Awakens, and I think this is why I disliked it quicker than other people, because people perhaps hadn't seen The Force Awakens so recently, so it wasn't in their heads. But we literally watched The Force Awakens in the cinema, rewatched it, and it went straight into Last Jedi. And you have the scene, and apparently the direction Mark Hamill says that he was given by J.J. Abrams was just stand there and look like a powerful Jedi Master.
Yeah.
And the music that John Williams has, I love the music of that. It's called was it the Stairs in the Jedi Temple? Even the idea that Luke went looking for the first Jedi Temple sets up this intrigue. Why did he go looking for the very first Jedi Temple? Is there some forgotten knowledge that Jedi lost over time that he's trying to regain? And he stands there, and you have this music, and he turns around. He looks really majestic, really powerful, and he takes his cloak down, and then you cut to The Last Jedi, and his body language is different. He's like slouched a little bit. He looks pissed off. He doesn't look like, kind of like he's filled with inner turmoil and knowledge and stuff. And then he tosses it over his shoulder in what I can only describe as an MCU joke, goes down into his hut, and then changes into hobo gear. And all of a sudden, then, when he changes his clothes, his hair goes greasy.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
It's so bizarre.
I think literally Rian Johnson did to the script what Mark Hamill does with that lightsaber in that first bit. Like that is literally what he did.
Mark Hamill said that originally in the script or in the film there was going to be all four like rocks floating around him like he's meditating and like emanating the force around him. And when he read the script from Last Jedi, he phoned him up and was like, "Wait a sec! It says I'm cut off from the force, but the last shot has me using the force to lift all these rocks when Rey comes up to see me." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we removed those," but they removed them apparently like 2 or 3 weeks before the film came out, so they had to call back some copies of the film they sent out to cinema chains to re-edit that shot.
Yeah, it's just
so bad. And also, if you watch, I think it's one of the documentaries on the Force Awakens Blu-ray where they do the read-through. They don't show you all of it. They show you like clips from the read-through, that famous picture they had where they had all the cast there. The actual line in there, the stage director says that Luke doesn't ask Rey who she is or why she's there. He already knows, and he looks on her with reluctance, but knowing that they're about to have a great adventure together. Wow. Okay. Well, that didn't happen, did it?
I think the problem with the Disney ones, like movies aside, I think it's almost like that thing that people say, never meet your heroes. Like I loved the original. I love the original. The prequels, I can take them or leave them. I'm not a big prequel fan. I've always said that. But the originals are fantastic. And for me, it's like there was always that. Me and my mates used to always chat what would happen afterwards. Oh, you go on these adventures, read the books or the games. And now we know what happens and it's rubbish. So like now there's no imagination there anymore because it's all done. And
well, that was the thing. Like,
as Luke anymore, or Carrie Fisher as Leia, or Han Solo. It's just not going to happen. So
it was all very well them throwing out like all the EU stories, because those were always they were canon unless George Lucas said otherwise.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're going to replace like all these stories that a whole generation, like I grew up on the 90s, early noughties expanded universe, that was like I watched Star Wars when the special editions came out, and then that was like what my next go-to thing was. So to throw out those stories about Luke, bringing back the Jedi Order, but doing it in his own way and having the Jedi Temple on Yavin 4 and all that, if you're going to get rid of all that, you're going to have to tell something better. But instead, they didn't. They did something worse,
Yeah, I love the Timothy Zahn books. They're great.
Oh, yeah. Well, they keep drawing back from those. They brought Timothy Zahn back. They brought Thrawn in
back. Yeah.
But it's so frustrating to me that it's also kind of tainted the original trilogy. You have to almost like create your own headcanon and go, right, that was where it ended, because otherwise the scene where Luke finally brings balance to the Force with his father, and everyone's celebrating and he sees his Force ghosts, and you get the idea that he's going to pass on what he learned. None of that came to pass. And one thing that annoyed me so much was so many people were like, I don't know why you're upset about Luke being the last Jedi. Yoda even called him that in Return of the Jedi. No, what he actually says is, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be. Pass on what you have learned. So in other words, it's up to you to carry forward. Not, oh, you'll be the last one and then you die and there'll be none of us. You know? It just...
But I mean,
I'm getting angry now.
They even say before that there is another talking about Leia, but she's not a Jedi.
And he says, in time you'll learn to know I have.
Yeah.
Which kind of fantastic until what we got was basically Mary Poppins in space. Honestly, I actually quite like what they did with Carrie Fisher's performance in Rise of Skywalker. I thought they did, quite well. And
But again, that was because it's from Force Awakens.
But what I feel like though is that when she passed, they should have killed her off in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
When she first got blown up, I thought, oh, that's sad, but it's a fitting way to go. And I like the fact that Kylo couldn't do it, and one of the TIE fighter pilots did. And I thought, oh, what's going to happen now is that because he's, he couldn't do it, he's conflicted, he's going to be enraged and kill the pilot that killed his mum.
Yeah.
No, instead she just does a Yondu move and floats through space like Superman.
The worst thing about that is they killed a load of really cool characters that people loved through the years, and just talked about him and just really, Admiral Akbar.
Even the new characters they set up, like one of the scenes I actually really like in The Force Awakens is when you've got the new sort of generals and commanders in the Resistance, and they're talking about the plan to take down Starkiller Base. And there's some great character actors in that. There's the bad guy from Russia. I always forget his name. He's there, and you've also got Snapper Wexley. And they introduced some interesting characters that I was looking to see go through this trilogy with. And then you go to The Last Jedi, and they say that this is all that's left of the Resistance, and they're nowhere to be found. Now they brought them back for Force Awakens, most of them, and I was happy. But at the same time, it's where the hell have you been? Where did you get to? What were you doing? It feels like Rian Johnson just made a film by itself. He didn't even acknowledge that there was a film before it, and he didn't acknowledge there's a film after it. He just wanted to do this one thing. That wasn't even a Star Wars movie, That
would have been fine, I think, if it was a Star Wars story like Solo or like Rogue One. But it wasn't. It's part of a trilogy that needs to have a tie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the best one, I don't know what people are going to say in the chat or what you guys think, but I think the best one that Disney made is Rogue One by a mile.
Oh, 100%.
I love that film. I think it's a great
100%.
film.
And do you know what's good about that? Is that it only strengthens the existing films.
Completely agree.
It only, makes A New Hope better. It only, adds to the story that we already know. It doesn't take away from anyone's victory. It doesn't undermine anything. It doesn't say, oh, by the way, that was for naught. This is what really happened. It complements it.
I just love it. I mean, even the monks, I'm one with the Force One. I mean, they didn't add random Jedis in there because no one would know who the Jedi are then. It all works so well together. They were still Force sensitive, but K2SO is fantastic. I just think it's such a great cast of characters.
I love the idea of Jedi. What's got me for a film, they said, well, they don't have really any Force sensitives. Chirrut, you don't really know if he's completely Force sensitive or if he's just someone who acknowledges and sort of worships the Force, and has faith in it. Whether he actually can have bend the Force to his will or whatever, or utilize it. But for a film that stays away mostly from the Force, it actually added more mysticism and more mythos to the legend of it. I love the idea they had this planet Jeddah, which is where people who weren't Jedi or Sith, but other religions, they said that basically there are other religions who also acknowledge the Force that go there as almost a kind of Mecca. You had the big statue of the Jedi. There was talks of there being a temple on there at some point. It was really fascinating. And I remember going to the panel with the director and him talking about it and how he had the idea that, there's this thing called the Force. There's going to be more than just two religions that follow it and people who go to this place that idolize the Jedi and stuff, And even the whole story with what's his name? Galen Marek saying that he put the weakness in the Death Star. It feels that what people call plot hole or plot convenience, but it does so in a way that makes sense. Rogue One is a superb film, and it deserves its place in the Star Wars anthology. The sequel trilogy, on the other hand, takes away from what came before and really doesn't justify its own existence at all.
I mean, I feel like Solo was a bit of a mixed bag because I didn't like what they did to like tie it in with stuff, but I actually think it's not that bad of a movie.
Yeah, I liked Solo. I mean, I preferred the story it originally has in the books, which they definitely took some inspiration from. But I thought it was okay. I didn't think it damaged Han Solo. It was a bit. I think it doesn't work as well now that there's only one Solo film. When they were planning the trilogy,
well, I think it's tragic, really, for that film because it was after Last Jedi, so people boycotted it because of Last Jedi. So then they canned it because I think like Donald Glover was really good as Lando, and I think it had some effects there. But I
don't even know if it was an active boycott. Like I know fans were talking about it, but you know the main money comes from these films are casual audiences. You know, really.
Yeah, true.
The merchandise stuff that comes more from the fans and kids and stuff, but. I feel like it was just the casual audiences didn't like The Last Jedi. You know, it didn't do as well as The Force Awakens. And the main reason was because people didn't go back to see it a second or third or fourth time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, one, it came out really quickly afterwards. But the thing is, they do that with Marvel films. You know, they have another one come out in 6 months' time. And people still are eager to go see those. For whatever reason, people had a new Star Wars film come out 6 months after. And they were like, nah.
Yeah,
yeah. And you know, they tried making out, oh no, it's fine, everything's fine here. How are you? You know, but they must have known then there was a problem. But it's a shame that Solo suffered because I would have liked to see a second and third film. And the problem is because it's just a standalone now, a lot of people assume like when he says let's go off to find this gangster on Tatooine to work for, like casual fans think that is literally it.
Yeah.
They go into A New Hope. Like they think that's like the extent of his backstory with Lando. When originally there was meant to be, you know, he meets up with Lando further and their friendship develops over the course of like the trilogy, you know? Because if you take just that one meeting and say they don't meet then until Empire, that doesn't really add up, you know? They don't have that long friendship or anything, you know?
Well, also there's obviously a big backstory there with him and Jabba the Hutt, isn't there? Because Jabba, obviously there's a reason why Jabba wants him mounted on his wall. Like,
yeah. Well, it's because he dropped that cargo, but he was supposed to have worked for him for a while, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the books, there's a lot more. And one thing I loved in the books is that the sort of the three relationships of Boba Fett, Lando, and Han kind of go way back to the point that basically there's been numerous times where there's been a bounty on Han's head and Boba's gone after him. And when Lando first met, he actually rescued him from Boba Fett. And the reason he went looking for Han in the first place is that he had acquired the Millennium Falcon, but he didn't know how to fly. So Han was the one who taught Lando how to fly. And he fell in love with the Falcon then and wanted it for himself. But obviously it was Lando's baby. But he knew right then that is going to be my ship. And then years later, he won it off him. I've just killed everyone.
That makes a lot of sense.
Have I blown your mind a little bit now?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to read the Han Solo trilogy, there's 3 books. There's the first one, The Paradise Snare. Then there's the Hutt Gambit, and then Rebel Dawn. And it literally goes from him being a child over the course of the 3 books, right up to the scene where Obi-Wan comes over to his table in A New Hope, and they're superb.
Oh, wicked.
They have definitely taken elements to it, like the fact of Han being in the Imperial Navy, which is kind of alluded to in Empire Strikes Back anyway, because he knows their protocols, like dumping the trash before they go to hyperspace and stuff like that. And like how he rescued Chewbacca is a bit different in the book, how he rescued Chewbacca, but that's kind of, you know, they've drawn from it. But I would definitely recommend it. And I was looking forward to seeing more Solo films, but I don't think that's going to happen now. There's been talk about them doing it as a TV series on Disney Plus, but I think their priority right now is Mandalorian, Kenobi, and is it the Cassian Andor series as well?
Yeah, because Rogue One has been good with fans. I think that's why they want to do that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I like Cassian. I love K2, but I don't know if I want a whole series about them. You know, I kind of like the fact the more that we only got to see them once, fell in love with them, and then they were taken from us. You know.
Yeah. I think they're going to do a lot. I think they've got to do a lot of backpedaling with Marvel at the moment as well, with obviously all the films being postponed and stuff, because there's a lot of decent ones of those coming out as well. With WandaVision, and Falcon. Is it? What's it called? There's the
the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that one. That seems pretty cool. As well as like they're doing Loki as well, aren't they? So loads of cool stuff.
Yeah, Loki is the one I'm really not sure about because the Loki one isn't the Loki that we know from the MCU as such. It's going to be a Loki from an alternative universe that was created when he stole the Tesseract.
Yeah.
In Avengers Endgame when he went back in time. And I'm just like, okay, so all the character development he went through in the subsequent films is going to be undone, and we're back to.
It gives me such. I don't know if you ever watched Red Dwarf, but it gives me real Red Dwarf vibes.
Yeah,
because that's what happens with Chris Barry, the hologram. What's it called, Rimmer? Because he goes, and then you get another one that's basically a guy who doesn't learn any of the lessons through.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Falcon Winter Soldier, and I'm looking forward to WandaVision.
Yeah,
because that looks really trippy, and they're going to go into like in the comics. Obviously, she's a mutant rather than something that's made with Loki's staff, and she has certain powers that alter reality, and it looks like they're going to go into that in this one. So,
well, they're going to slowly have to do something because X-Men are obviously going to be going into it anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as well, there's a lot of thing about, do you know when they dropped the first trailer for Morbius movie with Jared Leto? They were like, a lot of people were kicking off, well, not kicking off, but confused about how Vulture's in that when it's not an MCU film, because obviously Sony do the MCU Spider-Man films. Well, they finance them and they release them, but they're actually technically made by Marvel Studios. That's part of the deal. It's like, you make this film for us, we'll finance it and we'll profit from it, but then you get to use Spider-Man in your films. That's kind of the deal they had. And that's fine, but when they do their own Marvel films, they're in a different continuity. Like Venom's not in the MCU. And Morbius is supposed to be in the same continuity as Venom, but it has Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming in there.
Weird.
And even to add confusion, there's graffiti in the background of Sam Raimi's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So apparently what a lot of people are saying now is that the third Spider-Man film is going to do the multiverse.
Yeah, I've heard this as well. Thingy Dunst is supposed to be in it as well.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because like I know the Doctor Strange film is called like I think it's like the Madness of the Multiverse or something. And they mentioned it in Far From Home, because Mysterio said that he was from the multiverse, but obviously he was lying. But really, the multiverse has always been primarily a DC thing. Like they've done Crisis on Infinite Earths and stuff like that in the comics. In Marvel, they've never really done much multiverse. The only character they have is Spider-Man, so it makes sense that they would do that. But it feels like because DC announced they were doing a Flashpoint movie, they were going to have Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton as Batman, and they were going to bring back other characters. Marvel were like, oh, that's a good idea. We need to kind of get that out before them, you know?
I am quite interested with Doctor Strange because I really liked the first one. That's probably the film I'm most interested in this year, but I don't want it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but I suppose they've got to do something different.
Because one thing, like I like both Marvel and DC, although I am more a DC fan than Marvel, but I like both. The Thanos was actually created because Marvel wanted their own version of Darkseid, but you know for a fact that when DC finally do Darkseid on the big screen, loads of people are going to go who don't know any better. Oh, they're copying Marvel. So it's just a little bit frustration as a DC fan that the multiverse is more a DC thing, but it might be that Marvel get it out before them, you know?
I think it's really interesting because, like, I was watching something earlier about like the Hulk, why the Hulk films never got made, and why like they went with Iron Man, and Iron Man was more successful. And it's like because Iron Man, they pretty much just replicated Batman on the big screen, whereas like with the Hulk, it's something that I don't think any cinema have ever been able to really make into a decent movie because it's just.
It's weird though because like they find it they'd make Hulk like and give him his own film. They really struggled with the closest we've got to a good Hulk movie was the Edward Norton one. And even that's not perfect; it's quite generic. But the Hulk was on TV for years as a successful TV show, and I almost feel like that works better as a TV show than a film. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Marvel and DC copy each other quite a lot back and forth. They've even admitted that. They've even said before they used to share ideas. Stan Lee said that he used to meet up with some of the people from DC on lunch, and he used to give them ideas, and they used to give him ideas. You know,
Well, you can tell that with a lot of the characters, can't you? Really, like most of them, like there's not much difference. I mean, like Spider-Man's quite unique. But, like Deadpool is very similar to I can't remember his name now. There's a DC one that's literally the same. But
well, Deadpool actually is a spoof of a DC character.
Yeah.
He's actually a spoof of Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. So
yeah, that's it. Deathstroke. That's the one I was trying to think of. They're like basically the same character, and even like Spawn's very similar as well. Like the Seth MacFarlane. Is it Seth MacFarlane?
Todd McFarlane.
Todd. That's it. I was gonna say Seth MacFarlane.
I can just see eyes glazing over here at the moment. So.
I'm just listening.
Yeah, Spawn was supposed to be a new movie. They never finished it, did they? The Spawn movie, the new one.
They never. That's one thing they never got right for the.
No.
Like I remember the hype for Spawn was a lot bigger than the actual film itself. Before it came out. Oh, the missus is trashing the set.
Sorry.
I have the Spawn soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love Spawn comics.
We don't get soundtracks for films anymore, really, do we? No. Do you know, you used to always get like a big soundtrack, and there was always one big like song that had a epic music video, and it was always like linked to like a big tentpole blockbuster. The last example I can think of, I think, was Spider-Man 3 had a song. Oh no, was Spider-Man 2 had "Hero" by Nickelback.
50 Shades of Grey.
Did it?
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey had.
You know more than I do about 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey was I can't remember her name, but that had a soundtrack.
Oh, I do know actually. It was the Ellie Goulding one.
Yeah, Ellie Goulding. There you go.
Yeah, I only know that because Ellie Goulding's hot.
Lords did a song for something recently as well. Was it the last Mockingjay or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know, but do you know what I mean? You don't get it as like.
I know what you're saying. It's because you don't really have number ones like you used to, though.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Foo Fighters did a song for the first 4 movie. They did, what was it? Walk, but that didn't take off as big. I don't even remember the music video for it. I listened to the song, but I listened to it on their album rather than the full soundtrack. But
I think like I said, like the Top of the Pops doesn't like. It's not really like that anymore because usually if Ed Sheeran brings out an album, he's basically got the entire top 10 his album because of streaming. So I think that's probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, just looking into the chat, just a quick look, because I know we haven't been looking at the chat very much. I'm sorry about that. It just happened. Once I get onto topics and I'm talking with someone who can match me for sentences, you got it. And I feel like with Chris, I feel like me and him can talk for hours about stuff like this, which is good. It's good, but I know it means that we neglect our audience a little bit. But I can see Christopher Mitt says, the only real multiverse thing Marvel has done of late, I think, comic-wise, is the Spider-Verse and the Marvel Zombies. Yeah, the Marvel Zombies.
That's great.
Yeah, and all fairness, DC did copy that, and they did Deceased, and it literally even said, like, we want to do our own version of Marvel Zombies. And apparently the writer of Marvel Zombies has begrudgingly said that he prefers Deceased, so I don't know.
Wow.
I've got the comics. I haven't read them yet. I've got a couple up in frames because they did variant covers based on horror movies. And I've got one of the Nightmare on Elm Street poster where it has Poison Ivy and Batman sort of lurking over the top of her instead of Freddy Krueger.
That's awesome.
Brick Bunny's TV says, I like the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, the Hulk was really good in that. They borrowed from the Planet Hulk comic because he said they couldn't do a Planet Hulk film, so that was kind of the closest we could get. And I liked how, because he'd been a Hulk for a while, his personality and intelligence had grown. They say he was basically like a toddler. Rather than before, he was kind of just basically a caveman or something. Now he's a bit, he wasn't super intelligent, but he was, able to have like more of a distinct personality. I
felt like the Thor Ragnarok was almost like a Hulk Thor film because he had a very big part in that, didn't he?
Yeah, the Thor Ragnarok, his greatest strength is also his greatest weakness, and I would say that's the comedy because it's great. The comedy is fantastic. I love the director. He also voices Korg, and I think he's fantastic. But the problem is, it never stops being a comedy. So you have these scenes which really should be given more room to breathe and given a bit more emotional weight, like with characters being killed. and instead they're played almost for laughs, and I feel like that as a whole, I feel is Marvel's problem, and why I probably, for all their flaws, prefer DC, because they have more confidence to, they take greater risks in terms of just always relying on the lowest common denominator comedy, which Marvel does. I mean, you just look at Captain Marvel and Nick Fury's eye. You've all seen Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
And with Nick Fury, there was always this intrigue, this mystery about how he lost his eye. How he was in the Winter Soldier. He says, "The last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye." And in Captain Marvel, you find out that a cat scratched him. I was so peed off, I almost walked out of the cinema, honestly. Captain Marvel, I think, is one of the worst Marvel films they've done of late. And I don't mean because it's insanely bad, but because it is everything bad about MCU film. It's generic, it's forgettable, it has no decent action sequences that stand out in memory. It no sort of big characters. It has far too much comedy. It doesn't let scenes have any emotional weight. There's no real stakes. And worst of all, it made Brie Larson a terrible actress.
Yeah, it wasn't even needed, because I remember when that came out, because it came out in between Infinity War. Sorry, what's the one before Infinity War called? The two Avengers films, anyway, the two big ones. So you're kind of thinking she's needed. Now we're bringing her back, and it's like she wasn't even needed in the last Endgame. Sorry, Infinity War.
Yeah, she came out before. She came out between Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah.
And she wasn't even needed. She literally flew down and then went off.
There's also a distinct, there's also a disjoint between her characterization in the two films. How she is in Avengers Endgame is different to how she is personality and portrayal-wise in Captain Marvel. And apparently she filmed her scenes for Endgame before they filmed Captain Marvel, so they hadn't really decided what the character was going to be like. Wow. So she was just making it up as they go along, doing different takes. They're like, "Yeah, we'll go with that one," or "We'll go with that one," and it kind of tells when you look at it as a whole.
I think my favorite Marvel films are probably the ones that aren't really necessary, which are the Guardians of the Galaxy ones, because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. They're my favorites by far, and they are a comedy, but I think they know what they are, and that's why they're good.
Yeah, and even though now they were being in the Avengers, I think it also helps they have that distance from the rest of the MCU, so they have a bit more leeway and they can do their own thing.
Well, I think that's what happened with Thor, because the second, fourth Thor film was terrible, and so they brought it back with Ragnarok to make it more like Guardians. And I know it's a bit of a comedy, but I think that it suits Guardians quite well, and I hope Thor and Guardians work together in the next one, because they're calling it what was it? Guardians of
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I like it, but at the same time, I don't want it to be, because I feel again, it's its greatest strength, but I also felt like it went a bit almost too far in places with the comedy with Thor Ragnarok. They made Thor more of a intergalactic frat boy than the God of Thunder.
They did it in Endgame as well, didn't they? They made him a fan.
Yeah. I actually kind of like what they did with his character in Endgame, though. I know I don't approve of it being played for laughs, his depression, but if you can get past that, he has quite a good character arc. And I like when he went back in time and talked to his mother.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people didn't get the scenes. When he goes back in time and he calls the hammer to him and he says, "I'm still worthy." I don't think people realize the weight behind that, because the whole idea is that the reason why he's put on weight, his hair's gone all messy, he's living like a slob, he's suffering depression. He no longer feels worthy.
Yeah.
So to be able to call back the hammer, it's not just him being cocky, as we've kind of gotten used to for Ragnarok and Infinity War. It's him sort of realizing, "Oh yeah, I am still worthy," and I really love that shift, but I wasn't entirely comfortable with the way they sort of played out, someone who's obviously suffering with post-traumatic stress and depression as a joke, really. I thought that was a bit irresponsible.
Yeah, it's a hard one to do, because at the beginning he's very, very serious in that film as well, isn't he? He's super, he just beheads Thanos.
Oh, before they do the time jump, and then they come back and it's "Oh, look, he's fat," and they call him the Big Lebowski and stuff like that, and I think Rhodey takes the mick out of him being fat and stuff. I
I
think
love when he puts the headset on though, and he like shouts at some kids on the heads.
Yeah. That's fine. I think that's fine. I just felt like the rest of it, I felt like was a bit irresponsible. They could have done that a bit better with that. But yeah, I mean, going back to Captain Marvel, the one thing as well that bugs me is that constantly through that film, we're told that Cara Danvers struggles with her emotions. She's too emotional. She needs to keep them in check. And honestly, I've seen more emotion out of a friggin' tree trunk. She plays it so lifelessly, and that is not me knocking Brie Larson, because I swear it must have been a directing decision or something, because she's a superb actress. I love her. I mean, I love her in Scott Pilgrim as Envy Adams, but she's done other films, the Room and stuff like that. She's a high caliber actress, and yet the performance she gives is absolutely diabolical. It's so bad. And yeah, I hate Captain Marvel.
Like I say, I think part of it is to do with the fact that they don't really know what the character's arc is anyway in the film. So, like, I think,
yeah, I struggle sometimes with the MCU. I love it, but I also go, really? And okay, DC have got a lot of problems. They've made some terrible decisions, but I feel like at least sometimes they take risks. I feel what often holds Marvel back is that they keep going back to, let's just make it funny. If it's funny, it works. It doesn't matter, And the best films, I feel like, apart from Guardians of the Galaxy, which obviously has that deep-rooted humor, are the ones that don't rely so much on comedy. They have.
I think the Guardians, though, was like, when that came out, I think the MCU was a bit stale at the time, and I was more just interested in the Guardians of the Galaxy anyway. And I think, like you say, I think they've kind of seen that, so that was a success. So kind of just copied it onto all the other films.
Yeah. I definitely think Thor Ragnarok wouldn't have got made the way it did if it hadn't been the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Definitely not.
Saying that though, I mean, Winter Soldier came out the same year as Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is like a completely opposite. That's like I would say that's probably the more grittiest, more adult MCU film they've done, and that's my favorite. To be honest with you. What year was that? Was that 2014?
So it's something like that, isn't it? Because it's been
that was a great year for superhero movies, because we had Guardians of the Galaxy, superb. We had Winter Soldier, that was amazing. We had X-Men Days of Future Past, the last great X-Men movie. It was supposed to be the start of a new era, and kind of basically Logan was good, although that was kind of like, again, that was in its own continuity that kind of like existed outside the X-Men.
Well, that was like not even like Hugh Jackman wasn't supposed to come back, was he? He read the script for that and was like, yeah, I want to do this.
Yeah.
That's how good that was.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm excited for the next Batman film. I know people are having a bit of like, don't really like Robert Pattinson, but I think it's going to be great.
I'm not sort of Robert Pattinson, but I'm willing to be proven wrong, because people go, yeah, about Heath Ledger. I mean, I was actually one of the people who was like, that's awesome when Heath Ledger got cast, but I know people like were kicking off in their droves. Robert Pattinson, my knee-jerk reaction is, really? But I'm willing to give him a chance, especially after that trailer. That trailer looks superb.
It does look amazing.
Did you watch any of DC Fandom?
Yeah.
Yeah, the interview with Matt Reeves, the director, and obviously he worked on the story as well. I don't know if he co-wrote it, but he wrote the story, I think. He was saying all the right stuff. And like, he was quoting like the famous comic books that people always say, like The Dark Knight Returns. But also he was talking about some lesser known comics like Darwin Cook's Batman Ego. And I was like, huh?
I have to go.
Oh, sorry. Someone is
2 messages in the private chat and 1 in the public.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should have said, just interrupt us. No worries. Thanks for joining us. It's been great having you on. I'm sorry that we've bamboozled you with like Star Wars and comic knowledge.
No, you're cool. I was listening. You guys have so much knowledge. It's cool to listen. And I was watching your build as well. I love the stairs.
Yeah, they're really cool, aren't they?
They are. They're awesome. But it's a school night. I have to get kids to bed and everything else. So thank you for having me on, Craigle. Chris, Mr. Bricken, I will talk to you soon. Say hello to your wife. Say hello to your wives, and I'll talk to you later.
See you later, buddy.
Yeah, man. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye, chat.
You're a dangerous person to talk to, Chris.
I know it's not good.
Go on. Some people, you talk about comics, and because they just go, "Yeah, no," that is where it ends. But you feed me too much. You're an enabler.
I used to collect Dark Knight comics. Like I had Year One, Killing Joke, Long Halloween. Like
Long Halloween's a cracking one.
It's amazing. One of the best comics I've ever read. That is.
Have you read Batman Ego at all?
No, I haven't.
Definitely worth picking it up because that's one Matt Reeves mentioned, and I was like, wow, because
that one.
People always mention Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, and they're great, and they have been the inspiration for Chris Nolan. Even Batman '89 took inspiration from Year One and The Killing Joke to some extent. In a different kind, they took different aspects from that than what Nolan did. But when he was saying stuff like these lesser known comics, I was like, okay, this guy's a real fan. He actually knows what he's talking about. You know?
Like I said, I've not even heard of that. I mean, I know like Batman versus Superman was heavily from like Dark Knight. Is it Dark Knight Rises, the last one? But obviously Superman's kind of evil a little bit. I think they took a little bit of lead from that, but
the problem with Batman v Superman, it was like literally he read just the last issue of the Dark Knight Returns when Batman and Superman fight, didn't read any of the context surrounding it, and was like, let's just do a film of that. It didn't have any of the context or substance to it. I am actually looking forward, though, to the Snyder Cut, because...
I'm not.
Because I feel like Snyder was actually the wrong person to be given free reign over these characters, because I don't think he gets Batman or Superman, really.
Yeah.
I loved him as doing Watchmen, and I actually enjoy Man of Steel, for what it is. But I think that's because Nolan was kind of guiding his hand throughout that. When he was given, the keys to the toy pen, that's when it went off the rails. But I am looking forward to seeing more of what he wanted, because the Justice League film that came out was kind of just a mismatch of two directors' ideas. Not either one.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it was very tragic events as well, why it got to that point. But I think like Whedon's vision's obviously more colourful anyway because of the fact that he worked on Avengers 1 and stuff, and that's just what he knew.
That's what they wanted. Warner Bros. They kind of lost faith in it, and they had they were like, oh, just remake Avengers for us. We can make some money off it. But I honestly, moving forward, I feel like they've learned from their mistakes, and I'm more excited for the future of the DC. EU.
Yeah, Super Pieces said in the chat. Yeah, Super Pieces just said, I'm excited for the Batman movie because we're going to see more detective side of Batman. And I think, with it breaking, I think this is where we've got the Joker last year. They were allowed to do that Joker film, whereas if they were doing like a DCU, I don't think it would have worked, because obviously that's not even the Joker's origin story. It's like a random.
I hope they do more of that. They kind of said it was almost like a one shot. In the comics, you have like an Elseworld story, and it's just set in its own continuity. It's obviously has some elements of the comics that you're familiar with, but it's telling a story without the confines of continuity, and that's what Joker was, and it was superb. The Batman, I think, is in its own continuity. I don't think it's part of... Some people are saying, like, oh, this is going to be an origin for the, Affleck's replacement or whatever. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm thinking that they may sort of have Batman take a back seat in the DCEU, or the one rumor is they're going to have Keaton as the Batman. So I'm not sure. I know Ben Affleck is coming back for Flashpoint, and I'm actually quite excited about that as someone who's not really a fan of his Batman, because I don't like Batman that murders. I know that sounds weird being a fan of Keaton, but the thing with Keaton is, whilst he does kill people throughout films,
I love Keaton.
Huh?
I love Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, one the way Keaton, kills. His Batman does kill, not often in the first one, but in the second one there are aspects where you can't deny that he's crossed that line. It's a different kind of Batman film. It's Tim Burton's Batman, and also you have to take it as of his time. I mean, at the time it was a phenomenal just to get a Batman movie, let alone one that was that
Tim
good.
Burton, I don't think you're on about like this new guy reading these random. I don't think Tim Burton ever picked up a Batman novel. I think he literally was like, I don't care, I'll do whatever I want. Like, it's just so weird.
I mean, apparently he did read Batman Year One, The Dark Knight Rises, because they were like big at the time in the 80s.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like nowadays, I think we expect a more comic accurate portrayal because back then studios didn't have confidence in comic book properties. They were almost like city movies. Now people take them as a proper valid medium. They're like book adaptations. You don't dismiss a film because it's adapted from a book. You don't dismiss a film because it's adapted from a comic.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we demand more accurate, and that's why I don't like seeing Batman killing, even though I love Keaton's Batman.
Well, it's like when we were younger reading comics, it was like you're a geek for reading comics, whereas now it's like the mainstream, isn't it? Like people go to watch the Marvel films that are just like not into comics. They just go and watch them because they're a good blockbuster as well. Like
they're the new sort of blockbusters, aren't they?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like with Ben Affleck's Batman, I liked some aspects of his portrayal. I didn't like his murderous ways. I didn't like his character in Batman v Superman, like how if there's a 0.1% chance Superman's at an enemy, we have to kill him. That's not Batman. Batman doesn't want to kill. He won't kill someone for a 0.1%. That's Donald Trump in a Batcape, But I liked his fighting style. I liked his cave. I liked some aspects of him. The best portrayal Ben Affleck did of Batman Bruce Wayne was actually in Suicide Squad, I think. Because in that one, he almost feels a bit like the Batman from the animated series. In his small little cameos that he has.
Yeah, that was in the car.
And there were elements in Justice League I liked. I hated when he was like smiling and he had the alien gun, and then he goes to Superman like, "I don't not like you," It was just terrible. But I am kind of excited to see him come back in the Flashpoint movie. I'm hoping they can sort of redeem his Batman. But what I've heard is that Keaton's going to be in it because it's going to involve the multiverse with Flash, changing history and the Flashpoint storyline from the comics. But what I've heard the rumor being is that it will start off with with Affleck's Batman, because he's the current Batman in the DCEU. The Flash will go to the Tim Burton verse or whatever. When he comes back, things have slightly changed, and Keaton is the now DCU Batman, but he's like semi-retired, and he's more sort of like a Nick Fury character rather than an actual acting Batman.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I like it, but also I don't like it because I kind of want an active Batman in the world. But
did you ever watch Batman Beyond, which was the same guy who did the animated Batman series?
Yeah,
in the future, because that's where in that Bruce Wayne is like basically the butler.
He's like the Alfred. Yeah, he's
so they could kind of do that, I suppose. With
they actually were going to do a Batman Beyond movie before they settled on Batman Begins. There's about 8 different Batman movies, and they were going to have Clint Eastwood as the older Bruce Wayne Batman. I think that would have been terrific.
That would have been wicked, yeah.
But yeah, I can totally see Keaton in that kind of role as the older Batman, sort of mentoring.
He's a very diverse actor. I mean, people don't realize like he did Batman in the same like year he did blooming Beetlejuice. Like. It's very weird. Like
Beetlejuice was a few years before, but yeah,
but it's the same kind of time period.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people hate the idea. I mean, I wasn't around at the time I was around, but I wasn't aware as a kid of like the controversy of who was playing Batman. But people were kicking off because Keaton was more known for his comedic chops, and he's not particularly a tall man. So they were like, "Oh, he doesn't fit. He's not Bruce Wayne Batman." And then the film came out, and he blew everyone away.
It's so iconic
with him. It's all about the eyes with him. It's silent Batman at the eyes. And he looks so cool.
It is. It's just such a cool. He just, if you see that suit on its own with like that big yellow logo, it just looks rubbish. But when it's in the film, it looks so good.
You watch your filthy mouth, Chris.
It just looks so good though in the film.
I went to the exhibition they had. Was it last year or the year before last? In what used to be the Millennium Dome, the O2. I saw the costumes, and oh my god! I almost tried to steal that costume. It was gorgeous.
It's incredible. Yeah.
You want to look at the costume? You want to look at the one from Batman and Robin? His Batman ice suit. You had all the twigs down it.
And then, was it Batman Forever with the nipples on the back?
Yeah, it came in Batman Forever. They made it more highlighted in Batman and Robin. What for me though is that the Batman and Robin had nipples, right? Batgirl didn't. That's sick, and that is.
Yeah.
If you're going to give us nipples on the suits, you got to do everyone have nipples. They should have done Alfred nipples on his butler outfit, shouldn't they have? What I also found hilarious was when they did Robin's first outfit in Batman Forever, they just overloaded it with Robin logos. Like he has the one R, which he says, "What does that stand for?" Robin. He actually has the Robin logo between his eyes of his black little mask.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that? A target or something? Shooting between the eyes.
I think it's because like it was such a not Robin outfit. Like I said, it's more Nightwing than anything. That outfit. They wanted to try and make it look a little bit more Robin.
I don't know what it was. It's terrible. Yeah. I mean, the worst part I think of that, I said before that I do have a soft spot for Batman Forever, and I feel like there's a good film underneath all the crap. But the worst thing I think is when he goes, "Holy rusted metal, Batman!"
Yeah.
He goes, "It's metal and it's rusted and it's full of holes." Oh,
yeah, that bit's absolutely terrible.
It's just like...
I mean, to be fair, like that film, it could have been saved, like you say. Like I think if they did a decent Batman after it, it wouldn't have been known as that bad. But I think it gets dragged in the mud with Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
because Chris O'Donnell plays obviously Robin in both as well, so there's that continuity there, and I think it just gets dragged down with that.
I've talked about it before, but it's so bizarre that the actor that you almost feel like is most suited for the role of Bruce Wayne Batman is the worst one, and that's George Clooney. Like you look at him outside, at the time, this handsome, quite athletic, dark-haired man. You think he's got charm, sophistication. Yeah, he could be a great Bruce Wayne. He'd probably be a good Batman as well with a cowl on. And he is the worst Batman in existence.
Yeah,
he's terrible.
Yeah,
I also don't get like his cowl. His cowl is not. The eye holes are massive. Like you can tell me straight away. Like why does he have to have like all his eyebrows and like 2/3 of his cheek showing through the eye holes? It just makes no sense. I honestly, I did like Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne Batman, but George Clooney, oh my word.
Yeah.
Why did they have to put this on there? That feels like the kind of film that comes out in 2020.
I can't wait to see Robert Pattinson's proper Batman because I think it looks pretty cool. I like how he's got like the military boots and stuff, like where he just doesn't look like a well recited Batman. You get what I mean? Like he looks like half the stuff you could buy from the Salvation Army cloakroom or something.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sold on the suits. I did like the trailer. I thought what I did like is, do you know when he's in the Batcave or whatever it is, in the cave, he's got his cowl off and he's got the makeup around the eyes because that's the thing. Because what they do is they put makeup up to the eyes to sort of disguise it because you can't have the eye holes of the mask go right the way.
Everyone says it looks too emo, though, don't they? But all of them had that.
I like that. It reminds me of Winter Soldier. When he grabs Cap's shield, he has that black smudge makeup across his face.
Yeah,
and I thought that actually looked cool. As opposed to, there's a shot in Batman. I love Batman Returns, but there's a shot where he has like his mask on, his cowl, and he obviously has the makeup on underneath. And then it cuts to Michelle Pfeiffer, and it cuts back to him when he tears the mask off.
Yeah, he tears it from the bottom, doesn't he? And he's got no face mask on at all.
Yeah, right before he takes it off, you can see these big pink circles around his eyes. There's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope because the Joker's so successful that they may go to more darker areas with the Batman film because it looks pretty like the way they've done the Riddler. It looks pretty dark, like sellotape and stuff. And they might not be afraid to make it like an 18s movie and make it quite a pretty in-depth movie, which I hope so.
I don't think it'll be R-rated, but I think it'll be. I think it will be a tough film, but I think they will hold it like so they can get the 12A over here. I think it's PG-13 in the US because it's Batman movie. Like with the Joker, that was a very low budget film. They could take more of a gamble on that.
I mean, but he does pull that guy though. Like you're not no death Batman. Like that guy in the trailer, he's dead. Like I am dead. You can literally hear the guy's skull like mashed in.
I don't think he's dead. I think he's just going. I think it's going to beat the crap out of him. Batman names, but I don't think he'll kill.
But
I hope he doesn't kill. If they do another killing Batman, it's going to be such an.
Well, I think that's what this one will talk about. I think the Riddler's going to try and make him break, kind of similar to what they did with Dark Knight, where Joker tries to put him on the edge. I think that's what it'll be.
Because the thing is, that's what makes the character interesting. If he could just kill people, he might as well just go around with a gun and shoot people. The
I
problem
think
is that he's a vigilante. He's outside the law,
Yeah.
but he's also trying to, be above them. He's trying
I
to be better.
think that's what it's supposed to be from the trailer, from what I've got, because like it looks like the Riddler's supposed to also be a vigilante, but on the same side. Because he says to a friend on the envelope.
Yeah.
So I think it's like that's what it's supposed to be like.
Because that's also like that is part of what makes Batman a flawed hero. Because there's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's even brought up in some storylines. Like if you had just killed the Joker before now, so and so would be alive, but you won't. You can't bring yourself to. You're kind of selfish in that respect, and it is that conflict of that. Would you kill the one person to save someone? But then where do you draw the line? When the next Joker pops up, do you kill them too?
Yeah.
And there's been some really interesting stories about that. I don't know if you ever read Under the Hood.
No.
Oh, that's a really cracking. So I won't spoil that, but that's a really cracking story about someone who was hurt really badly and thought that Batman would avenge them, and Batman didn't because of his code. And basically, by not doing that, they create a new monster. So yeah, I definitely recommend picking up that or watching the film. There's a great animated adaptation of it, which is pretty much like spot onto the comic. Under the Red Hood animated movie, you can probably pick it up on Blu-ray or whatever. But yeah. We've gone on a massive tangent now. We've talked more about Batman and Marvel and Star Wars than we have Harry Potter. This is what happens when we cut the Craggle stream, I'm afraid. We scared BFAB off, and then we made Sai sit in silence for the best part of an hour. So I don't know if I'm going to have you on here again, Chris. You're too dangerous. You said my channel Craggle's Den is dangerous because it brings out the collecting side in you. I think you're dangerous because it brings out the talky geek side of me.
I'm not a geek. What are you on about?
I mean, this is the set so far. This is where we got to. I give you a quick look at it. I quite like it so far. There's some really nice building techniques. I love these rounded sort of bay windows that we're developing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like how they've done the cases inside. This reminds me of a ghost trap. I know it's supposed to be. I can't know if you can see that actually. It's supposed to be the cash register, but to me it looks like a ghost trap. It's like why is there Ghostbusters and Harry Potter? Are they in the same universe? I mean, technically, Casper is in the same universe as Ghostbusters, so maybe Harry Potter is as well. Maybe we're going to see in the new film we're going to have like Ray Stantz and Peter Venkman burst into Hogwarts and zap Nerdy Headless Nick. Yeah, so on that note, I think I'm going to call it a day now. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours. Originally, I was only going to stream for an hour, but this is what happens when you get talking to someone like Chris. But I have enjoyed myself. I hope you've enjoyed listening and watching us build. I'm sorry that we didn't get much chat interaction. I'll try and make up for that next time. But I do appreciate each and every one of you that's been here and joined us. And I appreciate all of you. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would be here if you haven't. Please also hit that subscribe button. And if you did find, what we were talking about even remotely interesting, consider hopping over to my other channel, Craggle's Den, because on that one, I'm not limited to just Lego stuff. I do videos on comics, Funko Pops, action figures, all sorts. I've got lots of new videos and more collectibles and stuff that I'm going to share on there. And it'd be great to see some more subscribers and some more viewers over there. And let me know in the comments what you think of that kind of content. But for now, I will say farewell. I also want to thank Chris for joining me and Sai, BFAB. And until next time, I don't have a catchphrase. Good night.